There we go.
Check it. What's device limit reached?
I see us.
What are you talking about?
We're live. We're looking good.
Yep. I hear us.
Hey, puppy. Why does everything want to change? Facebook's like, who's your default audience? Just do the same shit you did yesterday. What? Okay, so now I have to change these settings for sharing. It's been on public the whole time.
Why are you still asking questions?
I'm the one who asked the questions. My name the question is my superpower. I'm the one who asked the question. I got a question for you. How you gonna be? I'm gonna be the question you asking the question. I don't have no face. What do you normally share to?
Instagram, and then it does Facebook as well.
Great, they started a whole ass new group. There we go. I'm supposed to be tripping, man.
All right, and I am showing us what's up. We're here.
Hello.
Hello,
what
everyone.
Up, folks?
How's it going?
I'm Scott.
I'm Trey.
And I'm Phil.
And I'm having technical difficulties.
Don't have technical difficulties.
I know, right? They're bringing me down
Don't
like
do it.
spinal meningitis.
Oh. No tears this week, guys.
That's right.
It's a waste of good suffering.
All right, you need to
This
use
week we're talking about Hellraiser 2022.
Yeah.
And Trey has computer Cenobites right now.
That's right.
So,
Right.
Yeah, they're making.
wait,
hard
I
for
thought
people.
this was about Cenobites, like the little cinnamon roll things. The
Wait, is that
Cinnabon.
not what we're talking about?
That's what I did. I just went to Cinnabon and got Cenobites. That's what
Right.
I remember cinnamon
I thought they were
buns.
delicious. Yeah, I
Do you
do.
remember the cereal?
That's
stuff was
exact.
so
Yes,
good,
dude, that was
man.
really good.
God, it was so
They
good.
make cinnamon toast crunch churros now.
I've seen that. Yeah.
That shit's good. Of course, it will slice your mouth open if you eat it dry.
Oh yeah.
That shit'll crush your gums up.
Oh yeah. Well, see, the worst thing about those kinds of cereals is like you pour milk on them, and then it's deceptive, right? Because they'll have milk all over them, so you'll think it's gonna be soft.
It's something.
Nah, it's like soft on the surface, but once you get inside of
It's a
it,
little
it's still just
dagger.
like jagged. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's like eating a piece of shell. It's like, yes. So, what you guys been doing this week, huh? What you doing, Scott?
What you doing, Scoot?
I got PS Plus.
Okay.
And just been downloading a shit ton of games.
Yeah.
And I started playing Vampire.
Hey, Scott, I hate to interrupt you, but I think it's using the wrong mic again.
Is it using the wrong mic?
Yeah, I think it is.
Weird.
While y'all sitting there roasting on your boy, Lord have mercy. Tomorrow at
How's that?
GameStop.
How's that?
Oh, that's so much better. See, you've become crispy.
Oh,
and
fixed it.
Oh.
Anyways, yeah, I've been playing the shit out of Vampire. It is really good.
Vampire.
VMPYR.
I did not realize that was a third-person game. I really thought that was first-person, but I guess I was thinking about that Vampire the Masquerade game that came out more recently.
Right. Bloodlines.
Yeah, Bloodlines. That's it.
Yeah, man.
But the story's really good. It's you're a doctor and you're kind of getting sheltered by this other doctor who's totally into vampires. He's just yeah, come work at my hospital. We'll have you work the night shift. That way there's no suspicion, you know. And there's a patient there. She thinks she's a vampire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like you have conversations with her and you pretty much treat her. You're like, hello, Queen of the Damned. Like you play into it. It's great. I love those conversations.
So has she actually like bitten somebody?
Yeah, there's this dude who's like his face is all messed up that she like goes.
She bit his face,
bites.
man.
She bit his face.
Did she? It's a neck. It's a neck. There's basic vampire
She's
rules.
vampiring wrong, man.
Yeah, no, that's a werewolf move to bite the face.
So why she bite this man? He's already having
because
problems.
because he lets her.
Disfigured.
Because he lets her. You know, because he's all disfigured. So he's
like,
all like, man, no one
face.
shows me any affection anymore except
nobody
for
else gonna
her.
bite
So
me.
whatever. Yeah. She's the only one that pays attention to me now. So I mean, of course, what? She just takes a little nibble every once in a while. Whatever. Yeah.
I've had worse.
You know.
What's up, Whiskey? And what's up, Robbie?
What's up, dudes?
What up, folks? Yo.
Yeah. So so you said that like the combat's pretty good too.
Yeah. I mean, basic third person combat. I mean,
it makes me wonder
dodge.
what it's like, you know, because I guess now I'm thinking, what is it like? You know, like actually dodge roll heavy, or is it like?
You don't really dodge. You just kind of phase through things. You
that's
have
cool.
a dash.
Yeah.
And then you have like blood powers. Like you can stun the enemy and like bite them, and then get like blood, and it just fills up this gauge to where you can use like super claw or like throw blood like spikes and shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a pretty cool progression system.
Yeah. So what are your? So you have skill trees.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your standard kit? Like, what do you have when you first start out?
When you first start out, you can bite and use weapons.
Okay.
And you can use that dodge.
So it's more kind of like Legacy of Kain was initially.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, you get more powerful and get more. Obviously, you get more stuff as you progress.
You know what?
Yeah.
I would love to see a reimagined Legacy of Kain, just OG Legacy of
Blood
Kain.
Omen.
Blood Omen.
Yeah.
That would be great. Most people go for Soul Reaver, but Legacy of Kain, like from the very beginning, you weren't a vampire yet. You know, it's like
he was just getting there.
Yeah, you're a bloodthirsty fucker.
Yep.
You know, and and then you get cursed, and so that'd be so dope in a modern sense. You know,
yeah.
Even if they kept it kind of top down isometric.
Oh, the isometric. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What was the Soul Reaver Legacy of Kain crossover game? It was the one where you could play both of them. It was like had a campaign that was kind of interweaving with the two characters. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, there was Soul Reaver, then there was Soul Reaver 2.
I don't think this was Soul Reaver 2.
No.
This was something else. This is like Legacy of Kain something. I don't know, but it was like so it would have came out maybe around like Dreamcast era, I guess.
Huh.
Yeah.
No, that was Soul Reaver. Soul Reaver was on Dreamcast. But,
right.
Soul Reaver.
This was.
I don't know.
Yeah, this was
I've looked that up.
It was a good game though, because it was kind of refined mechanics for Raziel and for Kain. Pretty dope. And Kain was a badass in that one.
I forgot because there was Defiance. There was also Dead Sun.
Is it Defiance? I think Defiance is the one I'm thinking of, where you play as both of them.
Completely forgot about those other guys. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
What about yourself, Phil? What you been doing?
Mostly testing out stuff on this this new video card. Got me a 3090 Ti. I think I talked about it, but now I actually have it. And
Did you
like
say you had to modify your case
I had to
fit it in?
I had to
That
use
thing was ginormous,
dude. I had to use metal cutters to so you know the front of my case. I know the folks at home don't, but basically I have a case that's more like a big cube, right? And on the front panel of it, you can pop the whole thing off, and it had fans right up there at the top. Right. And so I had a radiator on the other side, on the inside of the case. So that was my CPU radiator. And the card is so long that it would not fit with the radiator installed. So what I had to do is pop the front panel off, take off the fans that are inside the front panel, and then I pushed the radiator through the holes, and then I got it in there. I was like, cool, I'll just put it inside the front. And then it turns out that it was like a half an inch too close to where the hoses come out of the radiator. So I'm like, well, son of a bitch. So and at this point, I had everything taken apart, and I'm like, I'm not letting this win. And I went and just got sheet metal cutters, and then just cut out a notch in my thing, and then took a file and filed it down so it wouldn't eat into the thing. And I put it there, screwed it all in, and there's basically no clearance with this video card, even with the radiator taken out. The bitch is huge. It's a 3.5 slot card, man.
Yeah, so I mean, what you did was you gave it extra ventilation.
I did. That's it. That's
Right.
it. Yeah.
That's what you did. Okay, all right. That was tactical. I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah. And you can't even tell. It looks clean.
Right on.
I covered up all the injuries. You know.
Speaking of
Patched
looking
it up pretty
clean,
well.
Yeah.
have you reinstalled Cyberpunk?
Oh, I don't have it on PC. I only got it on PS5. Yeah, because like
is it not on sale right now?
I mean, yeah, but why would I buy it again?
Because you have a 3090.
Yeah, but the thing is, like it's still a $60 game on PC. Like, so if it's not on
But
sale,
if it's on sale, that's what I'm saying.
it's
If
only
on
gonna be
sale,
30.
All right.
You know,
okay.
I'd rather just get Game Pass and get a whole bunch of shit like that. I'm
Y'all
looking.
tell us how you feel about that in the comments below.
I'm looking
how
forward
about,
to Scorn.
Grand Theft Auto? GTA 5.
I have GTA 5. I mean, I know the way that
just
game
to see it on a 3090.
Eh.
Have you seen it? Oh my god!
I'd rather buy Red Dead Redemption 2.
I heard that, but that's the only game you want to see with this badass man. See, that's the thing. If I had 3090,
No, I have
I'd be
games.
installing
But I
everything.
have games
I'd be
in my
like-
library that I've installed. like I did Crisis Remastered
Okay.
and
All right, let's
cranked
do it.
that shit up, and it runs Crisis, and it actually does it pretty well. I did find out that I'm locked out of my Origin account. So I can't try out Crisis 3. I'm like, well, son of a bitch, this is stupid.
Does Crisis Remastered have RT?
Yes, but it's not hardware RT. It's like a software implementation because Crytek was looking at it and they realized that like to make a hardware implementation that works across both cards would suck. So they were like, fuck it, we'll just do it in engine. And it's fine. I think the game's real pretty, and it's kind of amazing that even the original version of Crysis still kind of holds up today, especially with like the foliage and stuff. There are games now that still don't do the dynamic foliage when you walk up to it and the leaf bends and all that shit. I love it. I love it, man. But yeah, I tried that out. I pretty much hit. Oh, you know what I started playing again is Asgard's Wrath.
Oh hell yeah!
Because now I can actually play it at a decent frame rate. Because I always had problems with that game, and I also am going to finish Prey because I never thought that Prey ran well on my computer, and now it runs flawlessly. So, because Prey is super cool, and I got a couple hours into it, but I was just like, I'm tired of playing at like 40 frames a second just so I can have it at the settings I want. I would not turn those settings down. I just wouldn't do it. Yeah. So what's been up with you, man?
What have I been doing? So this past week, finished Bone Lab.
Oh,
right?
cool.
Went ahead, rolled credits on that. It got weird. It got.
You
really
don't say.
Yeah. Not like it wasn't weird the whole time or anything. But, and so no, man, I was pretty much just obsessed with it until I rolled credits on that, and then went ahead and implemented some mods.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, man. So I've got like a Deadpool player model. Yeah. I've got a large variety of anime girls. You would love them.
Did you get that Gordon Freeman?
No, I saw that when I thought about it. I went with Deadpool. I went with Goku.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, the Goku model is sick,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. Does it look kind of cell shadedy or is it?
Yeah.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it looks
that's
very
awesome.
It's good, man. It's good. There's so many crazy models and so many different modes and game types you can play around with. And so I was kind of messing around with all of that. And then Overwatch 2 came out and just ruined my life. So I've been playing that like pretty much every night ever since it finally launched, or as much as I've been able to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, so that's been a lot of fun. Outside of that, I think that's really about it. And
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of leads us into that's first topic is bad news, right?
Oh, bad
Oh.
news.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Gotta
so
get the
hold
bad
on.
out of the way
Bad news.
first.
Let me present.
Yeah.
Don't wait.
Because-
Whoa.
Because there's no point in really talking about the second thing like right now. Because that's how my week is going. My week is our second bit of news, just so you guys know.
Okay, so first news. Toshimichi Mori
Yes.
is no longer with Arc System Works.
Yes, he has left Arc System Works, and this is the mastermind behind the BlazBlue franchise, which means that along with him may go any promise for another mainline BlazBlue
Yeah.
game,
Mm-hmm.
Which is sad.
which is really sad. He's been with the company since 2003.
Did he mention if he's going to a different studio or anything?
No.
He
At
just
this point in time,
mentioned that he left.
He's
that he-
going
yeah.
to Capcom. That's what he's
yeah, that'd be really, really interesting. What if Capcom did pony up the money and just say like, "Hey, come work with us"?
What
I
do we
mean-
need to pay you?
Right. I just think, I mean, they just really have like very different design philosophies.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Totally
You
agreed.
know,
Yeah.
and I think Capcom is trying their best to focus in a more Western-driven
Oh, yeah, totally.
strategy.
Yeah.
Whereas ArcSys is like, actually, Arc System Works is also doing the same thing. You know, they said they wanted their next couple of games to kind of be more geared towards like it's kind of like Strive. It's more
Well,
geared in a Western sense.
then it seems more that he'd go for an indie studio then,
Yeah,
or make
yeah,
his own
hopefully.
studio.
I'm about
He's
to
not
say
gonna-
start his
yeah.
own.
Yeah, he's not going to stop making games. So whatever comes from him next, we're going to keep eyes on it. Definitely. But it still sucks
It
because BlazBlue is my favorite fighting game personally. Like
That cast of characters is amazing. dude.
Absolutely up there, yeah.
And that
Mhm.
lore is mind blowing.
Yeah.
It's so thought provoking.
Every character is broken their own way. Like
Hell yeah.
it's
And
so
every
great.
character, it's like, you know, he made Hakumen when he was 10 years old, right? He
That's
came up with this
amazing
concept.
to me.
You know, like that's nuts,
Yeah.
right? So this is his passion project. This is his opus. And he was with the company for I think like what 3 years before they let him make maybe it was 5 years before they let him make BlazBlue, which is nuts, you know. And you know, we could possibly see another BlazBlue, but it won't have the same spirit. So
Right, and I still think that this doesn't take off the possibility of those characters being in another game, like
Right.
like a
Right.
you know mashup or a tag battle or some kind of thing like that. But yeah, a mainline BlazBlue is probably off the table because I mean Daisuke respects Mori so much that I don't think that he'd just like, oh yeah, we're gonna get somebody else to write it. No, fuck it. I don't think he'd
Right.
do that, man. I really
Nah,
think he'd
it's
be
the
like,
same thing.
that's his project and we're doing other things now. You know?
right, you know, he'll just focus on Guilty Gear and keep doing that, you know. And
Yeah.
the interesting thing is like, you know, we've already with BBXT, we've already kind of seen a crossover series with BlazBlue characters, right? And so like the only thing I could possibly see is because they've given BBXT a rollback.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, of course, it's coming to Steam as well, or coming to Xbox. I'm sorry. There's a chance that maybe they'll go ahead and add Guilty Gear to that. You know, since they already have the framework and everything set up.
That
They
makes
said
sense.
that yeah, they were like, we didn't want to add Guilty Gear until the story was completed. And with Guilty Gear Strive, well, that story's done, right?
Yeah.
They finally came full circle with Soul Bad Guy's story. So maybe they can add that.
So you think it'd be like a
franchise.
BBXT2 with Guilty Gear added and more BlazBlue characters?
But like a BBXT Central Fiction. Like you know what they'll do? They'll just add another surname, another title to it, and then call it a day.
We need more words. That's
yeah,
what we need.
because
How many words do we have in the last title? 5. Make it 6.
Exactly.
Not enough.
Because there is a new BBXT coming out, the Xbox version. It's the definitive edition.
Oh, got you.
And so so they're already on that train, and so they could very easily just be like, we're just gonna do one more round of DLC for it or another season for it, right?
What's that stupid tank's name?
Isn't his name like gun tank.
It's something like just
yeah. Yeah, from Under Night Ember.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That shit's funny.
What is his name? It's like Death Tank or something ridiculous, man. But that was such a fun game. Like I really enjoyed it. It just got heavily overshadowed by Dragon Ball Fighters and stuff.
Yeah.
Not much you can do about that.
So touching on what you were talking about, we got Overwatch 2 just launched this week.
Yes.
Free. You can go grab it on pretty much everything. I even saw that it's on the Switch.
Yep.
Does this have crossplay?
Yeah, that makes sense.
It does.
So you could play with anybody on anything?
Yep. So you can either limit it to pulling from like a console only pool, or include PC players in that, or a PlayStation only pool, Xbox only pool, etc. Because that's the only problem with it when it comes to an FPS like this. You start bringing like PC players into the fold, you're not on an even kilter.
Man, see, I want to play it on the PC side, but I'd have to be in PlayStation chat with you guys still. But if we really wanted to, me, you, the three of us and Robbie could all play. Scott could play on the Switch. I could play on the PC. We could all be in PlayStation chat and still stream the shit. And you know what I mean? So that's just cool right there in and of itself. Right. And it's a free game. Like that's pretty dope. Yeah,
it's pretty dope.
And now, what do you think about the gameplay in comparison to the first one? Because I've heard a lot of people kind of hit or miss about it. Like, especially them taking away a second tank class. A lot of people are unhappy about the way the balance is now.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a little bit different. Yeah. We've gone from 6v6 to 5v5 now. And so, that's going to be 2 DPS, 2 support, and 1 tank. Yeah. That does kind of speed things up a bit because people can't just like hide behind stacked up tanks anymore. Yeah. It's like this whole focus is really more, it's more of an aggressive focus, and you feel it when you're playing the game because it also up everyone's overall movement speed, right? DPS characters get a movement speed boost after they get a kill for a few seconds. So I mean the whole game feels a lot faster and smoother anyway, which it needed to, right? Because I mean the worst part of Overwatch is when you first exit your base and then you're playing Reinhardt and then you got to slowly make your way to wherever, or you're playing somebody who actually doesn't have a dash and then it's even worse. And so
that makes sense.
It's a little bit different, but I don't think it's like earth shattering, man.
Okay.
The game still feels very much like Overwatch.
Do you have all of the characters from Overwatch 1?
I do now. Like when this game first launched, the biggest point of news here was that launch was trash. Like it was bad. It was like one of the worst. And of course it's anticipated, right? Like we know that you're going to have a rough time with a game of this magnitude when you first release it. But they got DDoS out the gate, like immediately DDoS, right? Because people hate Blizzard right now. And I mean, it just is what it is. They had to see that coming. Of course, the servers are getting walloped, and then they need you to merge your battle.net with your PlayStation account or whatever else account you have. Those mergers were flawed. You know what I'm saying? So they weren't happening for a lot of people. I've been playing Overwatch since Overwatch 1 was in beta. And so I've got hours upon hours, hundreds of hours playing the game. I've got tons of skins that I've purchased, or gotten through loot boxes or whatever. All of it was gone. All of my stuff was completely gone because everything from Overwatch 1 is supposed to carry over since this has now completely replaced Overwatch 1. You cannot play Overwatch 1. They'll probably do an Overwatch 1 Classic like they did with WoW down the line. That's my guess. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it was really, really bad. So that first night, the queues were about 30,000 long, it'd be like your number 30,000 in queue. And so that was a lot of fun. Then, I mean, it was marred
sounds
with
like those Final Fantasy queues you were in.
Right.
Yeah.
The same thing. It's to be expected, right? I mean, everybody wants to jump in. And of course, everyone on Reddit and on Twitter is lambasting it, but they're also in queue trying to get in, which is funny to me. It's just funny, man. It's funny. Like people love to complain about some shit, right, but they know they just want to play.
Well, I mean, the harder they complain, the more they want it. That's what it is.
Exactly, dude. And it's like you got to be pragmatic about it at some point. And so, but then whenever you finally would get to the worst part is that they require a phone number verification step.
Oh
right.
my
That's a
God.
problem with some people. And so that wasn't working with like, if you have like a track phone or like Mint Mobile, like if you don't have some of these major providers, then it wouldn't really work for you. Right. So you had to have that. You had to merge your account with your battle.net. For a lot of people, there was this glitch where if you did merge those accounts, which was a prerequisite to getting in, then it would cause an error. So even if you did wait through like the 700 people in queue in front of you and you get in, then you get hit with an error.
No.
And then you'd error out.
No.
And so, yeah, like it was rough for a long time now. By 3 o'clock in the morning, I was finally able to play on day one. And when we got in there and I saw I didn't have my stuff, whatever, it starts with a few characters. And then I'd say 2 to 3 matches, you get a new character. Right.
Oh, okay.
So it really wasn't that bad once I started progressing through the stuff because it's like, whatever, you play for a couple with a character you may not really want. And then you start unlocking things and that's just fun to do,
But have they given you all your Overwatch 1 stuff yet?
Now they have.
Now.
It took them, it took them 2 more days. And then finally my syncing is all together. Okay. And now I have all of my stuff. Wow. And so, yeah.
They just borked the lunch.
That was it was a rough launch. It was a really rough launch for them.
Wow. As far as battle.net and the accounts, I feel like I definitely, like, I've had a battle.net account since Warcraft 2. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, man. I think I didn't have base Warcraft 2, so I had Tides of War. I had when they had the ships and everything, so it was like that's the first time I played it was with the expansion.
I love that game.
Oh yeah, amazing, dude.
So good.
Amazing. I think over the years I've noticed that Blizzard has continued to just tighten up the security on it to the point to where it's almost like a wall, and that mostly happened because of people stealing people's WoW accounts and people's Diablo 3 accounts. That was the really when they started ramping it up. And I noticed even like 5, 6 years ago, even like where they were like, go get the Authenticator app and make sure that you're logging in with this Authenticator app and all that stuff. I'm wondering if people that have already done all that had any of these issues. Like if you got the Authenticator app and you've been using it for other battle.net products, I wonder if you were just able to just go pop, bing, you're in, no problem.
Probably not, because I mean it's the same thing that I guess this is also on our topic list, but it's the same thing that Square Enix has been faced with lately. It's just really the cost of massive success. You know what I'm saying? Like
the unbearable weight of massive talent. Is that what it is?
It's the unbearable weight of massive talent.
The unbearable weight of Nick Cage.
Because I mean the same thing happens, man. You start attracting all these people and getting all these people's attention. In that crowd is going to be some people who just want to fuck shit up, right? They just want to see the world burn. And so it's the same thing that Square Enix was recently dealing with. Just I mean I don't know if you have an image for it or whatever, but they initiated they put out a press release.
This image because it looks dope.
Yeah,
nice.
Baby. That's from Heaven's Word.
I was like, I like it. I'm rolling with it.
Yeah, that's hype. That's you. Anyway, but the same thing happened here where they told everybody that they may want to think about either changing their passwords or using their one-time password authentication feature, because due to the fact that FF14 has gotten so big and a lot of people use the same passwords across multiple accounts, they're like, people have started using bots that try to force their way into your account. Basically, if your account information was compromised from another source, they'll take that same email address and they'll take that same password and try to use it on Final Fantasy 14 now. And sometimes it's met with various amounts of success, because some people do use the exact same email address and password across everything that they have, and so they're just like, okay, well, maybe you guys want to mix that stuff up, because
and don't have two-factor authentication on. Like I try to do two-factor on everything. I don't mind getting the like you were talking about, getting the phone messages,
right.
Send me a text. Let me put a number in. Let me get past this. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm
absolutely
fine with that. but a lot of people don't have that shit set up. And it's funny how, like hell, I just found out that my Steam account was still attached to an email address I don't have access to anymore. So they just did an update for Steam, and they were like, "Hey, authenticate your email," and I'm like, "Oh." Man.
Wow, it's like that old Hotmail account.
Yeah, dude.
You know?
I had a Bell South account. It's like,
oh man.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, boy. Whatever. That information was probably just public domain. They were just probably just like, here you go.
Yep.
Who cares?
It's out there now.
Passwords. Screw it.
We sold them when we sold the last bits of the company.
Exactly. Actually, that was the first thing we sold when we were trying to save the company.
Maybe if we sell all their data, we can get out of this hole.
Exactly.
Right.
That's so real. But yeah, so I mean, there is in the online space, especially when you're thinking about something like World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy 14. We're talking about like millions upon millions of players, you know. And so there's always going to be somebody who wants to try to fuck on you.
Yep, absolutely.
Sad facts. You know?
So we got a Bone Lab update, and it looks like a lot of it's mostly just fixing some of the issues where people were having like some physics issues and some what's the one though? I read one that I thought was kind of strange. It was like something about a certain type of enemy can't force player change.
This is the big deal, man.
Okay, because I didn't even know about this problem.
Right. You know, it's one of those things. I was hoping that by now you would have played through Bone Lab, because I was like, there's some things I want to talk to you about. This is one of those things. Okay, so they've changed a few of the stages and added some quality of life improvements. Okay. One of them is to a level called Minecart. Right?
Okay.
Minecart.
Well, I'm on level 4.
4 is
I don't remember what it's called.
Shit,
I just got to 4. I just got to 4 and stopped playing. So.
Yeah, it doesn't start fucking on you for a little minute.
Okay.
And so on the minecart, it becomes really hard to actually aim that thing. You know what I'm saying? That became really hard because you're going super fast down these rails, and so that became weird. So they changed that and made that a little bit less fucky. You know, because you just miss all those targets. There's nothing you can do. They also had a stage called Moon. On each one of these stages, they give you a new avatar. Okay. And then you have this new environment.
That's how you get all the new characters.
Exactly. You go through the levels. And by the end, the point of each one of the levels is to get to an orb that you open up, and then you unlock that avatar. For the Moon level, they give you who we've been calling Bingus. He's this little short, hairless cat, you know, super short, stubby legs. He's not fast at all. And then you're on the moon, so you have like low gravity, so you can jump, you know, really far, but that slows you down, and it's absolutely massive. There's a map.
Are you bipedal? Or?
Yeah.
You're a little bipedal, hairless cat.
If you crouch down and run,
oh no,
giant space with a very small creature, right? And for a lot of people, because this is the curse of Bone Lab, is if you're not creative, things are a struggle. And so like people are like, I don't know where to go, he's too slow, I can't get around. Your boy Trey, what I did was because they give you the guns, you can spawn in different items. At one point, I spawned in a couple of AK-47s.
Oh, did you start?
Did them backwards and Iron Man that shit? Yes, bro, that's what I did.
Fuck rocket jumping. I got AK gliding over here.
Right. I started building, like, because you'd be amazed just how many, and that's the whole point of this area. It's like a wide open sandbox area.
Yeah.
And you can make some constructs that are like, I mean, for the lack of any better way to describe it, like a few stories tall.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
And I would just I'd point my gun straight down and pop those over and over and over until it popped me way up into the air. So I'm using that kind of methodology for movement. You know what I'm saying? I'm just doing things a little bit differently.
Yeah.
So I had fun, but a lot of people didn't. And so they added like launch pads to that, They made it more clear, like where your objective was, so people don't have to explore. Lame.
This
But
sounds like the same thing that happened with Boneworks, man. Like when Boneworks first came out, there were a lot of little things that just didn't inherently make sense. You actually had to mess around to get to the thing.
You had to think.
And they were like, okay, I guess we'll like put indicators and stuff.
People don't
and
want
like,
to like hold my hand.
Show people. Hey, you can't make people look up, man. Remember?
That's right.
You cannot make people
you
look
can't do
up.
it. There's nothing you can do about that. But after Moon, after you finally get through the fuckery that is Moon, you get to Pillar. I think Pillar is level 11.
Okay.
And
that's funny. That makes sense, right? It's 11.
Exactly. Pillar is where you unlock Tall. Okay.
And that's
And
I can't wait to do the climbing thing with him. Oh my god!
If you would have played this the original way, you would not feel the same way, because the way that it worked is you walk out of the elevator and boom, they switch you to Tall, and then this orb breaks out of the mirror that you're looking at and flies all the way to the top of this tower that you have to climb up. Okay. And then all these little birds, they call them boids, like droids and birds and droids combined. Boids. These boids are flying around, and the boids are assholes, bro. You know what I'm saying? They attack you from weird directions and angles, and whenever they hit you, they randomize your player model. And so you become all these other player models while you're trying to climb up. You know
so they stopped this?
Yeah,
in the new patch.
Yeah, they took it away. They added, because it was really difficult. If you're tall, then that's fine. You can pretty much just climb up,
right?
You know, and wait. You know, catch them out of the air, whatever, shoot them, do whatever you want. But there's nothing worse than being in the middle of a climb or a jump and then being switched to that short cat, right? Or switched to the short anime girl, and you're out there trying to reach for a pillar or a ledge, and all of a sudden your arms are shorter. You know, like, I mean, it was frustrating. Like, I quit playing the game for a while. I had to walk away the first time because I have it on stream. I was so frustrated. I was so fucking mad, and I came back, did it again. I was like, oh. And then the third time I came back, I figured it out and nailed it, because you have to get to the very top. There are these turrets that are like mobile turrets that can like two-shot you, you know, on your way up while you're dealing with these boids. And then you got to get to the top and destroy the sphere. And so they don't really let you know that. So a lot of people will get to the top while still being randomized the whole fucking time. Hopefully they haven't dropped their weapons, because Bone Lab does have a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? And then you don't even know that I have to keep plugging away at this sphere while these boys are just bombarding me. And so
have they fixed the weapon drop problem?
They made it so, well, that's really kind of on you. Like that.
You're right. Honestly, you're right. Yeah, you know, but they could make those areas like a little bit bigger.
They have for your ammo pouch versus that pistol in that area.
Because sometimes I feel like I go to grab another magazine and it'll be like, okay, now I got it. Now I got it.
Yeah. What I had to realize is that my magazine is on the left. It's not on the center.
No, it's on the left hip,
low left.
Low.
Yeah. You know, and so. But they made it so that the gun on your left side won't really fight over your ammo so much.
Yeah,
I think we're prioritizing ammo over the firearm if you're already holding a firearm.
Okay.
And so, but I haven't played since these patches went live. Yeah. I am interested in seeing, you know, this pillar change, because they also added a checkpoint to the middle of the pillar stage. So now if you just make it up to a certain point, then you can also leave.
Because I think Stress Level 0 is real bad about their checkpoints. That's something I've noticed consistently. Like they don't think about, hey, maybe we should put one here. Maybe you know, you just did something that takes a little bit. If you don't know what you're doing, put a checkpoint right there, please.
Right. And then the same way goes for their as far as if you're progressing through a stage, if you exit out of that stage, you have to go back to the previous stage and clear that in order to get back to the stage that you were actively on. So they also changed that. So you can also like save your progress through progression. So you don't have to finish the stage to have access to it in the future.
That's cool.
Because there's nothing worse than, like, you can log out of it and hit continue and still be there. But if you go back to the lab, go back to the hub, then you've got to start that previous level, go through that, which doesn't take any time really when you know the solution. And then you get to the next stage. So a lot of quality of life improvements.
That's good. That's good. Well, I'm going to play it some more in just a little bit, actually. I might as well stream it. I guess I'm going to stream it. You can come join me.
Yeah.
You know? You can come laugh at me some more whiskey. It's a good time, right?
It's a good time, bro.
So this one I'm kind of excited about. I think this is super cool. we got a very high quality
Jesus.
gun stock maker that is already working on attachments for the PSVR 2.
Yes.
And that you can get one of these right now. They are expensive.
They're very expensive.
Yeah, they look it.
Yeah, to get one with the connectors, it's about $200. But you can get different connectors for each of the VR headsets. So if you're thinking about it as an investment over multiple headsets, it's not too bad, I guess. Because I mean, what the aim was like 60, 70, right?
With Farpoint.
With Farpoint, yeah. But so by itself, it was what?
You can get one about $40-$50. Well,
40, 50 bucks,
originally, about
Yeah.
$40-$50. Now, of course, to find the aim, it can be a little bit tricky for you.
Oh,
Can be pricey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this looks cool. They kind of have a magnetic thing going on where you can click it off, you know, and of course this is showing the Quest controllers, but it'll work with the Quest 2. It'll work with an Index, the Reverb G2, all that shit. Of course, not original PSVR, but yeah, they. I mean, they've already said they're working on this accessory. I can't really justify spending $200 though, man. Like,
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. And then furthermore, man, like I'm worried about this design. This looks like something that looks great outside of VR, but if you're actually the one holding it inside of VR, that firstly, none of this functionality matters for shit. You know what I'm saying? Who cares about the scope on it? Who cares about?
Well, that's just you. That's just, dude. That's just yeah.
Secondarily,
but you can just buy that frame.
One thing that I've learned is like guns that look like guns don't really line up one to one. The benefit of the aim controller is that it's this kind of ambiguous shape, right? So if you are holding a pistol, it doesn't feel foreign. If you are holding like a submachine gun, it doesn't feel foreign. That's an assault rifle. So if it's anything other than an assault rifle, it's gonna feel different. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you on that, and I think this is for a very specific VR user. So like if you're playing Pavlov, you know, if you're playing Onward, if you're playing shit like that, then this makes sense.
I think. I mean, well, I'm in the middle of the road about it. I think it's cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and it's overpriced.
It's really
too.
cool, and it's overpriced. I think it's one of those collector's things that you get because you want to feel like a badass. However, I feel like the more simplified approach of the aim is perfection.
You know what I really want to do is just buy the clips that they have, just buy the connectors, and then make my own fucking stock.
Right.
So that would cost me all of $40. You know what I'm saying?
You don't need all that shit, bro.
I don't.
Like,
but they did make the system like I've seen somebody using it, and it actually does seem to work pretty well because you can position any of this stuff any way that you want to. It's so I don't think that it's like a one-trick pony, and I don't think that it's too bad in multiple scenarios. The problem is you have to know what you're about to pick up. If you were playing a game where you're picking up different guns and all this stuff, that's going to be weird.
That's most shooters.
Well,
and then
no, but it's not. It's not with like Onward and Pavlov and stuff like that. You have a loadout. You have a specific loadout.
Right.
So it's not
still different guns. And anyway, all that to say, like when it comes to the hardest part about having a gun like that in a physical space, while also being in virtual reality, is getting those things to line up. Like you know what I'm saying, like getting that offset, like perfect. When it comes to guns like this, they usually don't line up universally. You know what I'm saying? And so you'd have to change your offset per weapon, which could be, I don't even know if that's really an option. In most cases.
In most games,
it's one offset.
In most games, it's not. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so,
it makes me want to see what Sony's option is here.
Right.
You know?
Right. Because they've got to crack that code. The aim is too good, man. That's the problem, is the aim is too good. And I'm so curious what they're going to do to try to replicate that now that they don't have to depend on light tracking.
Yeah, I think it's got to be something like this though, where stuff just clicks into it. But
anyway. But then theirs won't look like a gun though, because this is gonna get a motherfucker shot.
Seriously. Seriously. Uh-oh.
You know.
So Bleach is getting taken off of Crunchyroll.
Yeah, boy.
Yep.
Yeah, boy. So 1,000 Year Blood War is on its way.
No Mo Ichigo.
Yeah, so it's but
Ichigo, bye-bye.
do y'all know why that is?
Mm-mm.
Scott, you know why it is, don't you?
No,
Guess
why?
where you can find Bleach?
No, you can still get it on Netflix.
That's going to be changing as well, sir.
Mm.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus.
Oh.
Of course, it always comes back to Disney.
God, man, I'm like, get your hands out of my anime, you know. And so, yeah, so Disney's.
Hey, man, it's becoming a booming market, man. They would be kind of crazy not to at least dip their toes in it.
Yeah, it's also going to be accessible on Hulu because Disney also owns Hulu.
Right.
So that'll give people access to it there. But outside of that, Bleach is going to be Disney's property.
That's so crazy.
And it's weird to think.
How long you think it's going to take them to have a movie in the works?
Oh man, I mean,
live action.
Oh, live action movie. Oh
live
God,
action Bleach.
I don't know, man.
Is there not already one of those?
I think there actually is, but
there might be.
Yeah, I think there is, but I'm not sure with Disney. I'm not sure. They might just bank on that anime and just keep that money train rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, if 1,000 Year Blood War jumps off like everybody knows that it will, they might just put money into that and call it a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who's to say? Hey, y'all want to go ahead and restart this call real quick and get back to it? What are our next things?
Next thing is hold on a second. I gotta do this.
Is Street Fighter 2 beta, and then the Hasbro's figures.
Yep, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, yeah. Just go ahead and call us right back.
We can. You want to tear through them, or
how many minutes we got?
I don't know. Probably 5, if I had to guess. They told us. I saw a 10-minute pop.
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay. We made a big deal about it. Let's go and restart it.
Okay.
All right. See you in a second. Thank you. Hold on 1 second for us, guys. We are
right back.
Restarting our call. Don't go anywhere.
I'm still here with you guys, but I just have to join this second meet call. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Okay. Here it is. We're jumping right back in.
Man, I wish there was a workaround.
Okay. And we're back.
Oh.
Thank you for holding on, everybody.
Yeah, appreciate it.
What's up, folks?
Okay, so we got...
You got loud.
Me?
Yeah.
I haven't touched anything.
Mm-hmm.
You're good now.
Okay.
I mean,
you mean when I wasn't talking? I'm
good? It's fine. It's fine. I mean, you're louder, you're crispier. I don't know why that is though. Your audio just changed suddenly, but you sound good.
Okay. I bet it hasn't changed on the streaming end of things. It's probably been exactly the same. But anyway.
Anyways, more news.
More news. So Street Fighter 6 beta is live. Mm-hmm. Did you get an invite?
Hell no. Did you?
Nope.
Did you apply?
No, I didn't even apply.
Yeah. Did you apply, Scoot?
Nope.
That's what's up.
Oh, I see what's going on. I got to share that window again.
Boy. But yeah, so the Street Fighter 6 beta is going on right now, going on through the 10th. So if you were lucky enough to get a code, check your email. I think they went out about 3 days ago. And maybe you'll have a chance to play some Street Fighter 6 early. And they give access to a lot in this beta, man. They give access to a lot.
Who are they giving you? Like characters?
You have that the most recent beta build, which was Ryu, Luke, Jamie, Guile, Ken, and Shunners, Jury, Kimberly.
Okay.
Yeah, no Blanca yet.
So, but a good selection of them.
Yes, sounds
I
like
mean,
it.
Yeah.
That's 8 characters was OG Street Fighter 2, you know? I mean, that's
Right.
almost like a full-fledged game. DNF Duel started out with what, like 12, you know? So like 8 characters is pretty substantial, you know? And so, yeah, like of course, all the big streamers, Maximilian's playing it right now. Gianna at Anime Illuminati, he's on it. Rufelmonger, they're all on it.
Okay.
And it's really interesting to see, man, because like the game still has a very Street Fighter V aesthetic to me. While it is cranked up to 11, it still has that weight.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, it's still very, very heavy, you know, looking. Like, I haven't touched the game, I haven't played it, so it's hard for me to say. But I'm very curious as to how I'm going to feel about it when I get my hands on it. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's the only way I'm going to be able to tell is if I actually play it. Because looking at it, it can be deceiving, you know. But it does look a little chunky. I know what you mean.
It looks like it just takes the philosophy of 5 and then tries to take that into another direction instead of.
But 5 is
like
more
4.
like 2, right?
5 is more like 2.
Yeah, in the chunkiness. Yeah, because I mean, 2 to me was always that kind of like, you know, heavier kind of feeling to it. Because I feel like it got lighter in, you know, Alpha and 3.
Oh, totally. Well, I mean, I guess we can say that. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I still feel like, you know, 2 doesn't, because the thing about Street Fighter 5 is like their animation sequences are so long.
Yeah.
You know, per button press that it does make everything just feel slower.
Yeah.
In some regards, and everything feels a little bit alien. I still think Street Fighter 2 fundamentally just do what it do. But I see exactly what you mean, and yeah, by comparing that way.
Yeah.
But they made this out to be more like Street Fighter 3 initially.
Yeah.
You know, which, you know, they're not too far off, I guess. But I just want to play it. I really want to play it. I was hoping to get that code, and then people, of course, in the nature and spirit of modern gaming, people were selling that code for like $500.
Of course they were.
Yeah. You know, somebody had actually created a bot that would create fake email addresses and passwords and create fake Capcom accounts, and they ended up getting like over 100 codes. And so they started selling these codes, and if you look at the actual listings themselves, it's like, okay, if you want to buy this, you can't use your PlayStation Network name. You have to use this PlayStation Network name in tandem with, you know, this code. And so, you know, don't expect to have access to it afterwards. As a matter of fact, we can't even guarantee success. And so, like, people like willing to pay money to maybe get to use the code to play Street Fighter 6. You know?
Fuck that, dude.
Yeah, dude. It's been crazy. It's been crazy. 500, you know, for a few days of Street Fighter 6, and you know somebody did it.
Oh, yeah.
You know it.
Max did it.
Yeah, Max could afford it. You know, he can totally afford it. Like, whatever.
It's like, I gotta have a code. They didn't fucking send me one.
What if they didn't send Max a code? He'd be so mad. He would have made a video about it.
He would.
Well,
yeah.
no, yeah. He tries to avoid evoking like Capcom's ire, so maybe not, but probably.
He'd make a video about it, and then he'd make another video apologizing and crying about it.
You know, shout out to Maximilian, man. Like he's been putting out a lot of content on it, though. I mean, he's been playing it constantly, and so he went through the menus and went through like the accessibility settings. Man, they have it set up in such a way where if you're vision impaired, or I mean, you can be damn near blind, and you can still play the game. Like there are proximity chirps to let you know, like if you're facing towards a character or if you're close to a character, farther away from them. There are chirps for each one of the button presses. So if they press light, medium, heavy punch, light, medium, heavy kick, you can hear, you know, which buttons they're pressing. You know what I'm saying? Through the game. Like, it's nuts.
That's
it's absolutely
crazy.
Nuts. Yeah. Their accessibility options are very, very extensive for this game.
They can do all the text in Braille.
I mean, yeah.
Go.
You know, it's just tactile braille. So you just scroll
that's-
your cursor over it, and it
And you-
vibrates through the controller, and you feel it.
exclusive to the DualSense.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I wonder if you could. I wonder if there'd be a way to. I wonder if anybody's experimented with that.
I mean, I guess you could do it with Morse code, right?
Yeah, you can definitely do it with Morse. You know, but I wonder if you could simulate. I mean, simulating braille would be very, very difficult.
It'd be crazy. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it'd have to do with you swiping over the pad or something. In conjunction with the so they can see how fast your finger's moving and how you would feel each of the bumps.
I just feel like
maybe,
each one of the letters
I don't know
would
that
have to
it'd
be
work.
so large. You'd have to be like really large to make it work. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Somebody will mess around with that.
Yep.
They used to have adaptive screens like that, like for like Kindles or different.
I've seen that before. Yeah.
Yeah, where they'll have the raised the bumps that'll raise up off the screen.
It's got like a membrane on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's really cool shit.
Mm-hmm. Super sick tech. So but go check it out. Street Fighter 6 has got a lot of content going down online as we speak. And so watch your favorite streamer. Somebody's kicking some ass.
Absolutely. And what's also kicking some ass is these new Hasbro Street Fighter.
These look awesome.
And Power Rangers figures.
Yeah. So they have a Ryu, they have a Ken, they have a Cammy, and a Chun-Li. So
and all these characters are available in. Well, I don't know if Cammy is. I haven't seen a Cammy.
No, there's a Cammy.
I think it's Ryu and Chun-Li. No.
It's Ryu, Chun-Li, Ken, and Cammy.
No, what I'm saying is like in Battle for the Grid.
Oh.
And because that's the same model that they use for Battle for the Grid. But I think that in Battle for the Grid, we only have a Ryu and a Chun-Li currently.
Okay.
So this might be an indicator that they're going to be releasing a Ken and a Cammy for Battle of the Grid as well.
That'd be cool.
You know? Yeah, if they're doing the crossover,
they might as well. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but these figures look tight.
Do you see a price on them?
No, I'm gonna guess they're $40.
I think $39.99 is fair.
Yeah.
You know, and look at all the points of articulation. On them.
Yep. Look at those knees. Those are good knees.
Those thighs rotate. Like the top of the thigh rotates.
You can articulate every bit of it.
Like seriously, man, look at the ankles.
Like, the midsection has that like secondary lower part that
you have to flex it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can make him salsa.
Do the cha-cha slide.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to do our trailer portion, but I have a feeling this is gonna look like shit. I don't know.
You're actually gonna play the video?
I mean, we're gonna try it here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop presenting this, and then try to present as a tab. Where is it? There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do these one at a time, I think. That's okay though. Right, so we got new Cyberpunk.
Yeah, so this is
DLC.
Repeat after me.
Yes, it's going to be our first expansion.
Do solemnly swear.
For Cyberpunk. We also had announcements from CD Projekt Red saying that we have another few Witcher games coming in our future.
Right.
And also more Cyberpunk games coming in the future as well. So this newfound success of Cyberpunk 2077 is definitely treating the company well.
Yep. But I know that they've obviously been working on this for a while. Have they announced whether this is free or not?
It's probably not, if I had to guess.
Okay, because they did kind of make the promise that they'd have a couple of pieces of free DLC, and we got a very small one when it first launched.
Right.
And then we got the Edge Runners DLC, which was free. So at this point, this is
that's
where
your
they're getting.
two.
Yeah, that's it. That's all we get.
That's your two.
No,
Yeah.
We did only say a couple.
No, they've added a lot to Cyberpunk over the past. What is it? Has it been 2 years now? Yeah, they've added a lot. There've been a few DLCs for Cyberpunk. The last one being, Edge Runners. Of course, there was one before Edge Runners. There was a new one that came out. I guess this past week.
Yeah.
you know. And so there have been a lot
have
of
to do that.
DLCs, just some larger than others, and some that are more focused on stabilization, and then just adding a few like weapons or bits of content, bits of side content, instead of being like main focal points of the story. But I think they've totally delivered on their promises, and like the game is just a different game now.
Oh yeah,
you know?
no, it's one
So-
that mostly works.
Right.
Mhm.
But I think that a lot of people would feel the same way if they would have released a price for it. They'd be like, it should be free. And it's like, well, I don't know.
I don't know.
Because
I'm
by
not saying
by
that. I'm
point
just
when-
wondering.
By that
Yeah.
point in 2023, when it releases, I expect people to have a completely different opinion of Cyberpunk 2077.
They've redeemed themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Much
No
like
Man's Sky, bro.
Yep, that's what I was gonna say, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we have a Mortal Kombat.
Did you
30th
see No Man's Sky's
anniversary.
new DLC trailer?
I didn't.
Shit, dude. They added a casual mode so you don't have to grind so much. You can just play the game.
You mean you're not constantly being nagged about carbon anymore? Is that it?
What? You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
what
It's
about your
I can
carbon?
actually- right. It's like this is actually like an adventure game now. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
Man, yeah. PSVR 2. We're gonna have to do it.
That
Anyway.
might be worth trying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we got Mortal Kombat 30th anniversary trailer.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, seriously. I think the editing for this trailer is amazing.
It's top notch. It really, really is.
Wait, so hold on. Is it because I did share window? Because now it's looking like shit on my
You
end.
gotta share tab.
I know.
So, anyways, what is this just a video? Is this announcing anything, or is it just hey, we made it? We've been around for 30 years.
Pretty much that they've been around for 30 years. Ed Boon actually took to Twitter and let everybody know, please don't expect an announcement for our new game yet. It's like MK30 is just all about 30 years of Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
Which is that's significant. You know,
Yeah.
that's a lot, man. This game has gone through a lot of changes and evolutions and de-evolutions.
I love the editing for this trailer.
Right,
Yeah.
this is all so badass, man.
It's done so fucking well.
Well, I like how they're showing like everything, not just the games. It's
No,
like, you
everything.
Know, you got like the
Well,
movies. and,
wait till you
like,
see the end
shitty
of this.
TV show and
Look at this shit
and
at the
good
end.
animated TV show.
Look at this shit at the end, man. This killed me. I was like, what? They're just like, hey, everything ever Mortal Kombat right here. What you want? We got it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Here's
What
where
you
you
want?
find it. Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, man. And so, and you know, it's funny just looking across that list of software and the movies, and just seeing how it goes from like, you know, MK, like that was pretty good. MK Legends, you know, then we go to Legacy, and then we go to Mortal Kombat 2, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like
It's got
they're
everything.
so up, it's all over the place.
it's all.
man.
It really
like,
is. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I don't see is Shaolin
Spec
monks.
Ops.
I fucking
Right,
love
right.
Shaolin monks, dude.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
see any Sub-Zero.
Really? What?
Like that Sonya game. I'm
Yeah.
thinking
Sonya,
they might end up adding something like that
What
too.
was the
in
Jax
K-12.
game that they had?
That was Special Ops.
That was
Special
yeah.
Forces.
Special Forces or something?
Forces. Yeah, that was with Sonya and
Something.
Jax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so,
That game had some rad music.
That Sub-Zero game was super trash.
Yes, it
Yeah, it
was.
was.
it was max trash
It
right
was
there.
really, really bad. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Yeah, all those MK mythologies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so now, this is a funny one. We
yeah.
got the trailer for the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah. They did a whole direct.
They did an entire Nintendo Direct about it.
Yeah.
That was completely a waste of time. They could have just released that
Absolutely.
trailer. They
Yeah.
could have just released.
Yeah,
the
but you know,
trailer. 'Cause I thought about-
Nintendo likes to talk about the same thing they already talked about. You know?
Right.
Yeah,
And
million
go.
times.
Yep.
You didn't even do that. He
Yeah.
just pointed at you.
Oh. No, it's
just
not
like,
official if you don't snap, dude.
Push the
That's
button.
right.
He pushed the button. He didn't snap.
So what are y'all's thoughts on this trailer?
I think it looks. It could be okay.
Could be okay. That's kind of
It
how
looks
I
good.
feel.
I mean,
The visually it looks
visually,
great.
I think
Yeah,
it
it looks great.
it looks fantastic. Yeah.
I think
it looks fantastic.
yeah, I think this coming up with the penguins is a pretty good joke.
Mhm.
You know, so
No, I think that this
And that's
first
Jack
sequence looks.
That's Jack Black.
He's
Dude,
nailing
he's
it.
doing great.
he's nailing it.
nailing it.
Yeah,
I really think that this first sequence looks amazing. The
Absolutely.
second sequence, I think we'll have to see. Jury's out. But
the second
regardless of
sequence is a
anything,
little illumination.
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah, totally.
like I really think that this is going to be a really big deal for Nintendo.
Absolutely.
Because this could really help us actually get high quality Nintendo franchises into the animated space.
Yeah.
And which means Zelda, which means who voices Link, the hero who never speaks.
What if nobody does?
I would love
Yeah,
that.
for real. If they
I
just
would
keep him
love that.
silent.
And just let everybody around him talk. Navi talk the whole damn time.
And well, you need to have like moments where he's like actually trying to say something and people just cut him off.
That'd
They
be
just
great.
cut him off the
That'd be
entire
great.
Like,
time.
yeah. It's just that
So I think that we haven't gotten enough of a taste of how Chris Pratt sounds as Mario yet.
He's just gonna be Chris Pratt. Like
Yeah,
he's
like a
not
higher
changing his
register
voice
Chris
at all.
Pratt.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just speaking.
I'm
to
not
the
about
highest-
that. Who's Toad?
That's Keegan Michael Key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
See, he just yeah.
It sounds a little inflected, like
Well,
not
yeah,
much.
he's
but
speaking on a higher register. He's not just talking like Chris Pratt. He's like, I'm acting. But
It's acting, Chris
There's-
Pratt.
there's a trailer out that's dubbed in French.
yeah.
You need to hear that.
Oh yeah, I've heard that people really love the French dub one. That's
French
kind of
dub,
funny.
because the guy, he sounds like Mario. Like he's
is he
constantly-
doing it like more high pitched?
Yeah, he's all over the place. Mario is
It's me.
even when he gets like.
What about
knocked
the
or
Italian
whatever,
trailer?
He's just like whoa,
Right.
he does like all of that.
Oh,
And,
awesome.
I'm not certain about that, but yeah, that looks really, really good.
I think I might like this trailer more though. I'm a bigger fan of this. I might have to
Imagine
download
this.
this.
Where Super Mario is a realistic
Oh, yeah,
action
this
game
is-
starring Chris Pratt.
This is great.
Me, I'm Mario.
One man
this
hate it when he
is
said that.
attempting to
it's
make
so
that
terrible.
reality.
Mm-hmm.
The
He's like,
latest
"That's not the
update
voice."
features
But look at
much
it.
improved
Oh, that's such a
graphics,
good
a snazzy new
bad
outfit,
likeness.
and this
Look at him.
subtitle screen.
Uh-huh.
There are
Yeah,
all
those
new
fireballs
levels
are
and
dope.
actual
Just-
gameplay.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can
the
jump
fireballs
on
are
mountains,
like
jump
OP
on
in this
and
game.
get coins,
This
lots
is
and lots of coins.
I love
Then
Dude,
get
it's so clean.
so
Please.
Switch Koopas,
Jesus.
shells, and get slightly unpredictable results.
it's so good.
The honest trailer.
Find that hidden
Yeah.
gem and check out
Yeah,
these
you guys
fully
got to
functional
check out
warp
Reimagined
pipes.
Games.
So
He's done a
many warp
couple of them,
pipes.
but he's
There's a working
this guy's
flagpole
dope.
and fireworks.
Yeah, and I'm
I
pretty
love
sure
it.
you
There
can
are
download
question
this.
blocks that actually spawn progressive power-ups. And believe me when I tell you,
He
this
just
whole
gets
power-up
taller.
Yeah,
system
it's
Like
just
he's
the
just-
first couple of, yeah.
Right.
And it's just the first
Seriously,
couple
learning how to
of
make any of this
worlds.
stuff work in Unreal Engine took 3
It's
freaking
funny looking at
months.
all of
And
that,
like a
just like
million
how
tutorials,
difficult it is
but
to make
it was
all that
totally
shit
worth it.
happen.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The
Hey, but at
invincible
least you don't
star
have to
turns
code all
Mario
of it, right?
into an unstoppable
Exactly.
killing machine.
Yeah. Those Goombas are so angry too. Look at
Yeah,
them.
they are.
Oh yeah, look how OP this is. Like what the fuck, man?
Bruh.
There's no
Fireballs are fucking broken.
Look at it, man. I would play the entire game.
I know. I know.
Even though it seems like it would control like absolute ass.
Well, he's got the different biomes of Mario at this point, you know? So you could put together the rest of the game.
Smash through the ceiling and you can run around up
Hell
top.
yeah, you can.
Watch your step on these moving platforms.
right, go to
Then
those warp
check out the warp zone
zones.
that doesn't actually go anywhere yet.
anywhere yet.
These picturesque mountains, we get
Oh,
the
this
first
is cool.
real 3D
Yeah, it's
platform.
super dope.
And it's way harder than
I love it,
I'm
man.
gonna try to get this. That's all.
Especially because most people, when they're doing like a UE5 version of any game, they try to make it as one-to-one, but still just like
Yeah.
with cranked up
Just-
visuals.
No,
Just
this
zazz
guy
up
had
a
fun.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, like for
right.
instance, every time we see an Ocarina of Time remake, like nobody tries to change Ocarina of Time other than the graphics. You know,
Exactly.
they're like, why would we change it? It's Ocarina of Time. What the fuck are you talking about?
Right. Uh-huh.
If you'd like
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this guy and his work. It's a good job.
Did you already download UE5 since you got that 3090? I want you
Yes,
to
I
flex that
haven't messed
muscle.
with it yet. I have. Trust me, I have. And there are
Okay.
totally things that will cripple it. And it starts putting out so much hot air that it's like a small heater.
Didn't you say it makes like a really high pitched noise when it gets like that?
It gets coil
Like,
whine. That's the only
Yeah.
problem with it, is it gets coil whine. But it only does it when it's at super high frame rates.
when
So
it's crushing it.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
When it's crushing it with no regard.
Hmm.
All right, so here's a thing that I wasn't expecting to come out of nowhere, but I knew it was coming eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Wakanda
It was on the
forever,
horizon.
guys.
Yeah.
This looks great.
Mm.
I also think it's dope because they're introducing King Namor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Fish dude.
Fish dude, yeah, but
Fish
they're going for like a Aztec vibe rather than a Atlantean vibe for him now, which I'm cool with.
Yeah. Why not?
You know,
I think
Marvel's
the name of the game
Aquaman.
is to also have multiple Panthers.
Yeah.
you
Uh huh.
know?
Yeah.
I can't help but that looks like Kotal Khan.
Yeah. Yeah. No shit.
I can't help but think that somebody at Disney, man, when Chadwick Boseman died, they were just like money.
Oh.
You know?
Oh, no.
Jeez.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah. Look at him. Look at him with his winged feet.
Yeah, I love that he has his winged feet.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
He looks less douchey than the Namor that I know, though. I'll just say
and
that.
Namor
Prince
from the comic.
Namor
Yeah.
is a douche.
He's a total
Yeah.
douchebag with that like flat fucking head, you know.
Yeah. I will say that the Black Panther franchise now, I guess, are some of the best looking Marvel
Yes.
movies
Yeah.
out there.
They
Yeah.
got some
I
style,
agree.
dude.
Mm-hmm. And so it looks like it's going to be a very powerful movie, man.
Yeah. Well, this one,
That is so dope.
even
like
just the
jumping
way
off the
this trailer plays out, it feels more DC than Marvel.
Yeah.
You know, it's got more weight to it,
Yeah.
but it looks.
Well, I mean,
amazing.
but I think for Black Panther, it almost has to.
Has to,
since we've
yeah.
actually lost, Chadwick Boseman. Like,
And they
you
lost
gotta-
T'Challa, so they're
Right.
feeling
Yeah.
the same weight, right? It's
Yeah.
yeah, Wakanda Forever. I'll check it out.
yeah,
Looks
definitely
great.
on it.
Oh yeah. Did y'all see that Werewolf by Night trailer?
I didn't watch the trailer, but I did see that they released that.
Yeah, I want to watch that. I want to watch Werewolf Marvel.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want
What's the
Marvel
main
to
character's
slow
name?
down.
Jack Terrier. Isn't that what it is?
Really?
I think so. It's
That's
something
good.
like that.
I don't know this one.
Werewolf by Night.
I don't think let me see.
I only know it by
Whatever.
name. I don't know shit about Werewolf by Night.
Yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
read any of the comic books.
I'll
Well,
look into it, but I've never looked into Werewolf. I know Werewolf Within.
Werewolves Within.
Werewolf
We gotta see.
Within.
We gotta see that movie.
Dude,
What the
oh
fuck?
my god!
That's
I don't
so-
know.
Okay.
Dude, I wish we could have played that, Scott, before you gave out that PSVR 2.
Oh yeah, Werewolves Within. It's all about being a liar.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's it,
Nice.
man.
You
It's
gotta
like there's a whispering mechanic, so you
Yep.
can lean into one another and like whisper, and nobody else can hear you talking.
Mhm.
You know,
That's
And so you can,
it's so dope. Mhm.
yeah.
You know, I like that kind of stuff, that like gesture based and VR control scheme, you know. And
Oh, yeah.
one of the things that I love about the game's really not bad, but it's just not great, is Rec Room, right? But Rec Room has such a good mechanic for a multiplayer game, where if you walk up to somebody and then or if somebody starts harassing you, is what I'm saying, you just give them the hand and it mutes them.
That's brilliant.
I was like,
That should always exist.
that's just standard,
That should just be
right?
in every VR game.
Yeah,
right.
That should be just basic.
Talk
you know
to
what
the
I'm saying?
hand,
Like,
and then
see,
that's all it
we're
is.
done here. You know, instead of having to try to move your cursor,
No, you
target
don't
them,
have to do any of
go
that. You
through a
just
menu.
boom, and then they're
boom.
muted. I think you
Uh-huh.
got to hold it there for a couple seconds.
Right.
Just
Because
to
the other
confirm?
thing would be, do you want to high five people? Because
Right.
people like
Right.
doing
Yeah.
that as well.
You got to hold it
right?
close if you want a high five.
You know, you got to hold
You
it
got-
to the
hold
side.
it up,
But if you
up.
put it right there,
if
then
you-
it's like, nope.
Oh no, I muted you. I just wanted 5, bro.
Right.
Okay, now let's get on to the pain and suffering, our main topic.
So our main topic is going to be 2022's Hellraiser, baby.
Yeah,
Directed
it's
by David Bruckner.
Yeah, it's only on Hulu right now. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a Hulu original, so
Yeah.
it's their property.
Mhm.
And it's also written by Ben Collins and Luke. What's his last name is weird. Piotrowski.
Yeah, Polish.
They were this the same team that did the Night House. I wasn't aware that it was the
Oh.
same. Yes, I've been talking about the Night House for the past few weeks here.
Yeah, you
Right.
have.
And
Yeah.
now I'm like, after I found out all of this after I watched Hellraiser.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I saw bits of the Night House in there. Like
That's
some of
cool.
like some of the how what's the best way to describe it? How the landscapes would kind of break apart and shift.
Yeah.
They would kind of do that kind of thing in the Night House as well.
Cool.
All of those
to a
kinds
better
of things
effect.
are awesome.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
really like the one that they did when they were in like the van and the
Oh, yeah,
van
just
started
pulled
separating.
everything back,
Yeah.
That's
Like,
good
that
as
was-
hell. Yeah.
That was cool
Yeah.
as shit.
And so before we jump into this, so are you guys like familiar with the Hellraiser movies? Have you
Yeah.
watched?
Yeah, I've seen all of them except for I guess it would be the most recent one. It was the one
All
where
of
it?
the
I didn't see that one
Pinhead
either.
dude. The actor was different, but I can't. I've never seen
You've
that one.
seen all of them? Now,
I've
there are
seen
10
all of them.
movies.
Yeah, I have
Uh,
not seen 10 Hellraiser movies.
Let's
There are
see.
10.
Yeah.
I have not.
Yes.
Okay.
There are now 11.
Right.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, most
So
people
maybe
stopped
I'm
at
missing a
Hellraiser
few.
3.
Right.
Most people
right.
went through Hellraiser 2.
No, I've seen
which
a
was-
couple more of them besides that. What's the
Hellraiser
one
3.
where
3.
Pinhead was digital? Which the one where he was CG?
That's like Game Over or some shit like that.
No, not when he was in the computer. When they made a CG version of Pinhead. That's a more recent film. That's not the last
It
one that
wasn't
came out
called
though.
Bloodlines.
It's
It
something
was
like
called-
that. It's like
Yeah. Okay.
So I think I've seen 5 or 6 Hellraiser movies.
Right.
I think that's
Okay.
about
Yeah.
right for me.
Right on.
But
Because I
absolutely
think that
love
that's
1
kind of-
through 3. 1 through 3 is great, dude.
Because I think
Yeah.
it's kind of a prerequisite for this movie, whether you enjoy it or not.
Yeah.
I think it is predicated on if you know Hellraiser.
Yeah, because I don't think the lore is overly complex in Hellraiser. It's
Right.
just it's specific. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, but I would argue that this could work even if you didn't know anything about.
Yeah.
Well, no,
This
it
movie's a
can
good
work.
standalone.
It
Yeah.
can work,
Yeah.
but the issue comes with Hellraiser isn't as much about just the villains
Mhm.
as it is almost human.
The
human
intervention
depravity.
It's
with-
ultimate.
and-
Hellraiser ultimately works the best when it doesn't focus on the Cenobites.
Right. Like
You know?
the less you see
Yeah.
them, the better in most cases,
Right.
but it's just about like people seeking greater pleasures or people in their greed and their lust. And it's
Greed
like,
and
okay,
lust is what that shit's about. It's about the evils of humanity. It's
Right.
it's a lot like the way that modern zombie films turn the horror on the people rather than on the zombies, or
Right.
hell, all
Right.
zombie movies, whatever.
mhm.
This does the same thing with hell. It's like yeah, sure, hell's bad, but you're the reason hell's bad.
Exactly. Right.
You did
Exactly.
this.
You did this.
You
It's
asked
all-
for this shit.
you know,
You
because that's the
do
thing.
it to
There-
yourself.
there's
That's
really
right.
never
You-
a good guy.
Yeah,
You know,
no.
it's the same situation where it's
Yeah.
just a fucked up situation on
Mhm.
all fronts.
Mhm.
And even the Cenobites themselves, are they really villains? You know what I'm saying? Y'all summoned them.
They're just
You
at
know,
work, man. They
and they're just seeking greater
this
pleasure.
is just my
you know?
job, dude.
Yeah,
Man, I just
And-
work here.
Yeah, dude. And
Uh-huh.
it's like, and this is what we were looking for, and you summoned us, so we thought that's what you
Yeah.
wanted too. That's the deal, man.
Oh, you're not into this?
Right.
I thought you called us.
Why were you fucking
Right.
around with the lament configuration?
Well,
if
I
you
mean,
didn't
if
want
this, to be fair, if
just
the
Hell's phone
Cenobites
book.
would just ask when they arrive, if they
Right.
would just confirm, hey, just so you know, we're gonna.
So
like,
what you're
chain you
saying?
up
We
and
need
fillet your
TOS
skin.
at the beginning of
You
Hellraiser. we
need-
just need
you
a
need-
hard TOS. Right?
Look,
But
I
I'm
just
like-
need you to sign this
Right, if you-
waiver before
But
we
they're
get
like,
started.
you already bled on me.
Yeah.
You bled. You know what I'm saying? We
That
made a contract.
actually
That's a
was
commitment.
your consent right
That was
there.
a
Is getting
consent.
stabbed. Like
Yeah. If
when you decided to injure yourself, then you consented to this.
Exactly, because it's always a situation where, like, if you weren't fucking with the bots,
Oh,
then
yeah.
everything's fine.
Yeah. But I thought it was a Rubik's cube. I didn't know. Like, I just like puzzles.
Like, it's so compelling.
Damn,
and
dude.
honestly, if you read some of the notes talking about the box, how they talk about the weight of it, how it has like a hefty weight, but almost like an empty shell of a person, how they lose pounds after they die. You know, like there's just something inherently missing, but that also makes you just want to hold it more.
It's a compelling object just to have in your hands. Yeah.
And this was a great presentation for not only the Lament configuration, but all of these configurations that they've now
all of them. They went through the whole thing, and I feel like they did a better job of showing you like what each one relates to, why the like each of them service with.
Well, bringing back a lot of the lore that kind of fell off, especially in the later movies, because the later, at least the later ones that I saw, don't really focus too much on like Leviathan or the Labyrinth or any of like the Lovecraftian elements. It's just hell.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
that wasn't what it was.
That's
in
a good
like
way to
the
put
first
it.
two.
They got way more into the hell side of it rather than into the cosmic
it's just
horror side of
hell.
its beginnings, right?
Right. Well, but that's still considered the Labyrinth being, you know, the passage down into, you know, their realm, which equates to hell.
Right.
All the rocky hallways, basically, that's what we're talking about.
It's just a very different presentation of what hell could be, you know, than what we typically think
you
of.
know why?
And then as the later movies went on, they kind of focused more on like the general consensus, this is hell, you know, kind of thing, instead of like I said, instead of the more cosmic horror, you know, we don't actually know what any of this actually is. You know,
I think we're gonna get there. I think we got 2 more movies coming, man.
Okay, I can see it. Yeah,
I truly believe it. Man.
I just want to go ahead and get out of the way that Clive Barker was a producer on this, and you can tell that he had his fingers in this movie. And I have to compare this directly to the new Candyman. Okay, because I feel like
Candyman is a Cenobite.
Yeah, no, but that makes total fucking sense. Like that
of course he's a Cenobite.
He's a Cenobite.
Damn, dude, you just wrecked me here. Okay, no, that completely makes sense. But okay, so the point
Freddy
I'm trying
Krueger
to make
is considered a Cenobite.
I mean, I guess that works. He works. He's too silly to be a Cenobite, to be honest.
Yeah, he wasn't always that silly. That happened later.
Yeah, but he's so silly now that I can't see him anything except for cracking jokes, man. That's the way. Right.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but these are all Cenobites, bro.
He's the Cenobite that all the rest of them cringe at. Like he walks in there like, oh god damn, this guy.
Yeah,
right. It's like, now just so
he always wears such a bad
invite,
sweater. Okay,
please don't invite that Freddy guy.
He kills it on Christmas. Let me tell you. Like no. So since I would say that you know, okay, what I'm getting at is that the new Candyman is the last. The most recent Clive Barker property other than this one, right? And in contrast to the two of them, while I didn't hate the new Candyman, you know, I thought it was fun. I thought it had good moments. I thought the gore was awesome. It was totally fine. You know what I mean? But I didn't think it was exceptional, and I thought that it lost a lot of the Clive Barker-ness. I thought it was trying to do its own thing in the Candyman world, right? Which was cool. It was cool, you know. This movie retains that very Clive Barker feeling that the original Hellraisers had, you know, especially with the way that they set up the relationships in this, you know,
right?
I still think that it kind of falls short of the OG, but that's the problem, right? The same thing with Candyman.
You can't,
especially thinking about like how old we were when we experienced these things. What else there was like as far as competition in those fields. Like Hellraiser was a completely different thing.
Yes.
I mean, it was terrifying. But also their practical effects were just so good. And they were so gritty.
Are real good.
These in the 2022 are very good, but they're so clean.
They
almost don't look as scary. They almost look as
there is a griminess to the originals, and this one is a little bit more sterile.
I think it's because everything's not carved out of foam rubber, though. You know what I'm saying? Like we're just
these, they look like they go into the club, baby.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Oh, they do. I see what you're saying.
What was she? Lady Nicoletta. What do they call her in this? The Gasp.
The
you know what I'm
gasp,
saying?
Yeah.
totally.
Deep throat,
With her,
you know?
yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
that was so
Her
pretty.
old pussy
And then,
throat ass.
yeah, boy, you know what I'm saying? She was, I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, while they are like that eldritch horror, at the same time, it's just like, y'all kind of look dope.
They look fresh.
Yeah,
They
right.
look super fresh.
y'all
Yeah.
kind of fresh.
I dig them. I dig them looking fresh, like a Chatterbox
They just
or
got
the
the hair,
Chatterer.
dude.
Chatterer.
Yeah, Chatter.
That's what it is. Yeah, I think the Chatterer looks great in this.
Looks great.
Yeah.
You know, but I can agree with you on that. Like nothing has that look of the 80s, dude. Nothing's
Right,
ever
right.
gonna have that look of the 80s again, even if we try to do practical effects, which seriously, this movie is mostly practical. Like
Yes, it is.
they use
That's surprising.
CG as a supplement rather than as the feature. And to me,
Right, but
that's
pretty much
the way to do
everything
it.
happens in camera. except
Everything,
for-
yeah. Like
Except
even
for maybe actually ripping somebody apart,
and
like
and a
that's-
lot of that looked like they tried as hard as they can to do
Yeah.
everything as practical as possible. You know,
Yeah, that's what really impressed me watching
Right.
this movie, because I was sitting there waiting for a CG fest,
and they didn't
that
do
is
it.
not what I got.
No,
Yeah.
man. No, of course it's not as good as the original, but I still think if you were to take like Candyman, the new one versus the old one, and this versus the old Hellraiser, this does a better job of representing the way the old one was. You know what I mean?
Right. Well,
That's-
and I think, yeah, I think it does a good job of that without really lampshade hanging.
Without
a lot of
without
these
trying to copy,
and kind of
right?
wink and nod at the
Right.
hey,
No,
do you
no,
remember
this just
There
is
was none of
another
that.
Hellraiser
Yeah.
story. And this
Well,
totally
yeah,
just goes along with the you know,
Yeah, because you don't have any callbacks to like Frank Cotton. You
No.
don't have any callbacks to like. I mean,
No
really,
one-
they do. The
no
only
one
the only
says-
callback is the box itself.
the box itself.
Right.
Yeah.
You
Who-
know?
who is of course the star of
Well,
Hellraiser.
Absolutely.
the
Right.
lament configuration's the
Yeah,
star.
you
That
would have
configuration is the star.
expected like Lady Pinhead to say something to the effect of "No tears, please,"
No,
you know, or
no,
something like
No,
that. And
she
it
had
doesn't happen.
all new
stuff, and
yeah,
she
all
looks
new dialogue.
great.
And not only that, but like Pinhead as a lady makes no
Makes a lot of
change.
sense.
It makes
Well,
no
there's
difference.
not
There
even
are
a
a lot of
change.
people-
It's just
Yeah.
I mean, well, and, I mean, it's just as sensual as Pinhead, because Pinhead's a sexy bastard.
he
I'm
is.
just
Hell yeah,
you
he's a
know,
sexy
that's just
bastard.
the truth, man. And so, like,
Sex boy.
Look at my leathers.
Doug Bradley, his representation of Pinhead was remarkable.
But I feel like
do
this
think that
actress,
Legendary.
Jamie Clayton, the
Jamie
new
Clayton, that's
Pinhead,
dude.
I
She
feel like
kills
she
it.
absolutely nailed it.
Kills it.
She
She
pins
pinned
it.
She totally pinned it.
puts
You
puts a
know?
pin on it.
Yeah. And so,
Not
like,
to
you know,
put too
whenever
fine a point on it.
whenever she is, which that was in a movie recently that we watched. What was that? Not to put too fine a point on that. That was in. Oh my God, that was that. Oh no, I think it may have been. No, I think it was an episode of Little Demon. They put that in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's right. It's
That's
total.
funny.
They might be Giants reference.
Yeah.
But no, Jamie Clayton definitely steals any scene that she's in.
Every time, dude,
Yeah.
with the look on her face, like she
Yeah, she
totally
doesn't even
holds
have
it
to
the
say
same way.
anything.
She doesn't
She
have to say
just
shit.
stands
She
there.
just shows
Patient.
up and is
Stands
just
there.
like, "What's up?
Mm-hmm.
You ready for them chains yet?"
That's right.
You really-
Are you ready
Is
for
it
them
chain
things?
time? I
Yeah,
got
dude,
all
and
night.
she keeps doing the this like
Oh, yeah,
like at the end when she's caressing a dude's face and she's still using that the whole time and she's just like slowly kind of going over his jawline and everything with the blood on the tips of her fingers. Like it's just yeah, no, I love the direction of this film. I love the way that they do any of the encounters with the Cenobites and the reality distortions that happen. Like I think like all of it looks really grounded. It's what I'm trying to say. Like that nothing feels out of place. It all works. So what do you guys think about the story? What do you think about?
I also wanted to say before we go too far,
Okay.
shout out to Odessa Azion, who plays Riley.
Yes,
I think that
absolutely.
she did a phenomenal job.
Absolutely.
And I kind of didn't like her when the movie
she
first
got-
started. I was
Well,
like,
I don't think you're
I don't
supposed
know.
to.
I don't know about her.
I don't think you're supposed to.
Yeah, but
You know,
she
she's-
kills it
but-
though. She kills
Absolutely.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Well, she has to carry. She pretty much has to carry this movie. for the most part.
I know what you mean by that, but I feel like when you say carry a movie, it's because other people are fucking up, and I don't think other people are fucking up.
I mean, like all of the narrative weight is on her.
She's
Like,
she's the second main character because the configuration is obvious.
Is the main character.
Yeah,
exactly.
Can't take that away from the box.
But I mean, especially with them, like with her having her addictions, with her having just wrestling with all the inconsistencies within her life and within herself. They do a great job of juxtaposing, like, okay, is this part real? Is this fantasy? Is this imagined or is this because of the box? Like, it's hard to tell sometimes where those lines are drawn, especially when it comes to time for her to communicate it to someone else. Like I think she just really, really killed that role.
I do too. I absolutely do too.
And maybe we should just talk more about it later if we're going to go through the story.
Well, yeah, I don't want to get too granular on the story, but I would like to at least talk about the main beats and go through it. You know what I mean? Because it starts with what's the guy's name? The collector guy. What's his name? It escapes me right now.
It escapes me as well.
Like Ronald or something.
Roland. His name is
Roland.
Okay.
Not Voight.
Vite.
Is it Voight? It is
Voight?
It is Voight.
Voight?
It's Voight because
Voight.
it reminds me of Vought, and it's not Vought.
It's not Vought. It's
Roland
Voight. It's Voight. Like
name.
the soccer balls.
Yeah, his name is Roland Voight.
Roland Voight. So it begins with Roland Voight, and him trying to initiate the Leviathan at the beginning. Like that's what we see is him. What's the first scene? Is it him actually in his?
The first scene is a sex party, and there's a sex worker.
That's right.
A guy who's walking around in there, and he's checking
walking
stuff
stuff out.
Giant mansion, and he's seeing people fucking in different rooms, walking around drinking. It's just debauchery.
Yes.
And he goes and he sits at the bar next to this woman. Her name is Selena, and he's talking to her, and they make it kind of seem like he's a little twink who's there.
Right. He's like, "What's up? I'm into cougars."
He seemed really nervous.
He did.
He was by himself, and she was like the older lady who was just like, "Okay, well, what's your name?" And he's like, "Joseph, but my friends call me Joey." And she's like, "I'll call you Joey too." And so they kind of flirt, touch and go. And he's like, "Do you really know who Mr. Voight is?" And she's like, "Yeah, I worked for him. Maybe you'll get to meet him." Oh, wait. Okay, rewind that. Sorry. The first scene is when she acquired the box. So the first scene is when she meets this guy.
That's the
Yeah, she meets this random guy, and she has a suitcase and gives him the suitcase. And he's like, "Okay, well, your package is over there." So basically, she pays him for the box. That's what happens. Next set is we're with Joey.
Because they always do the exchange in all the main Hellraiser movies where someone purchases the box with money. They always make sure they right?
Yeah. You did this.
You
did
this.
Greed. It always starts.
You wanted this shit.
You wanted this shit, and now you got it. Okay. Every time. That's the lesson, man.
That is, yeah.
Yeah. And so he wants to meet Voight, and she's like, "Okay, we'll just be in front of these double doors at this specific time." And he shows up. And he's looking around, and it happens to be a museum of all these really like intricate, ornate little knickknacks or whatever you want to call them.
Set into like an octagonal room, basically.
Yeah. And he walks upon the lament configuration and picks it up. Now, at this point, it's in its second form. No, it's in the Lazarus.
It's
almost.
It's in Lazarus.
It's almost.
It's in Lazarus.
Yeah, it's in Lazarus. And so he picks it up. And he's just like looking at it, whatever. And then Voight enters the room, and dude's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Voight, I'm putting it down." He's like, "No, man, play with it." It's like it's a puzzle. It's almost completed.
Right.
And he's like, "Okay." He keeps playing around with it until he finally figures it out.
Yeah, it's basically the scene from the trailer.
To the hand.
Yeah, you saw all this in the trailer.
If people watch the trailer, I don't know if they watch the trailer or not. But that being stated, he cuts his hand, and well, game on, baby. Y'all know what happens now. So
Voight just stands back and watches him get ripped the fuck apart.
Right. Well, Voight watches him for a second while the chains are going through him.
Yeah, and then he's like disinterested. He's like,
I've got Leviathan.
I've seen this before.
Right.
Let's go talk to God.
the puzzle box goes from Lazarus into Leviathan.
And what is it that
to
he
Diamond.
chooses? He chooses experience. He chooses.
No. He chose liminal. He chose sensation.
Yeah, sensation. That's what it is. Sensation.
Yeah, sensation. But whatever. We don't know about
And-
that at this point. At
yeah.
this point, we don't know about that.
Mhm.
He just, he has Leviathan, and he starts, yelling to the sky. There's a big skylight with all these, geometric configurations and shit. And he's yelling to the sky. You have lightning crashing all around. All the while Joey's over there just being ripped to shit.
So at this point, have we seen the house from the outside?
No.
Okay.
Well, we saw it it didn't have the
cage.
Well, it didn't have the cage.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
So, directly after that, that's when they cut to the main characters. Basically, that's when we get to meet our cast of friendly roommates.
Well, we had Riley and Trevor first boning. Yeah,
boning real loud.
And that always lets you know who's gonna die, right? Whenever you see in a horror movie, these are laws, man. They're laws. If people are fucking, they're dead.
Oh, they're
right?
dead.
Riley survived.
God damn it! Let's get through the movie, Scott.
I'm telling you.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, but that's the thing. It plays with that expectation because it's like you see that and it's like, okay, it sets off that alarm in your head, like, okay, this is gonna be a problem.
And then they walk out of the room all disheveled, and
because he said that he loved her.
Yep, that's right. So she cut that shit off right there. She's like, okay, you made it awkward. We're done here. We're done. They bust outside, and the roommates are all just sitting there going.
Her brother, his boyfriend, and their roommate all outside waiting for Riley.
And she's like,
to eat dinner.
You made dinner? She's like, I made tacos. Yeah. And she's just over there.
Said, did you hear us fucking? And they're like,
yeah. Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So Trevor ends up leaving because
I love that look because he's like, she's like, you could stay for dinner, and he's like, and he looks over at her and he's like, I got like a thing I gotta go do.
Well, he was also looking at her brother because he had a very
he was crossing his arms. He was
mad. He was pissed. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I don't like this piece of shit dude that you're boning loud as hell, enjoying your life. Don't you do that? And so so Trevor leaves. He says that he's gonna go and deliver some paintings.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because I think that's what isn't that what his job is? So he's like he works for an art dealer or something like that.
I think he's really more of just a smuggler.
Oh well, he's probably a thief too. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
like
I think he just
but his front is that he works for like an art dealer or something, right? Didn't he say
theoretically?
That?
Yeah. That's the only indication that we got because he was like, I could deliver some paintings.
Yeah.
Right. And so it makes him seem like he's legit, like a painter, or he delivers paintings for a living, whatever. Anyway, so he leaves, and her brother, his name was Matt. Matt's like, I don't like it. Fuck that dude. And he's like, who dates a recovering addict anyway? And she's like, what? And
I think what you said was who meets in AA.
No, he said who seriously dates a recovering addict, because like she was like taken aback by that and made it sound like they were talking about Trevor, but he was actually referencing her.
Right.
Yeah. And so apparently, she struggled with drug use, alcohol abuse, all of that. And so she's trying to, keep it straight. He also lets it slip that now Colin is the name of Matt's boyfriend. Right. All right. Black dude with glasses. Second I saw him, I said, you're fucked.
Oh,
and then we have.
But I like Colin.
I like him a lot. He's a good dude, man.
Well, he's the funniest one too in the whole movie. Like he's the one that's always saying the quip, and you're like,
And then the other roommate was named Nora.
Yeah.
And so those are our people. And everybody else wants Matt to kind of go easy on Riley, but Matt, I mean, that's his little sister, and she's been struggling, and she's late on rent and all this kind of shit. And so he's very kind of overbearing. He's all like,
I'm not going to be able to cover you this month,
And he's always like, I love you.
Yeah.
But you got to get your shit together, And she's like, God damn it, man, just leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I don't like him. And she's like, fine, I won't see him again. And that's the deal.
Immediately goes to his place.
Yep. Immediately.
And that's
Yeah.
where the call to action happens.
Yeah, because she's like, she doesn't know what to do about money. She's like, I've been making shitty tips at the bar or restaurant that she works at.
Yeah.
And so she goes to see him and she's just talking to him about the situation. He's like, well,
I know how to make
never
some
mind.
money.
Yeah,
Right?
never mind. She's
Yeah.
just like, no, tell me. And he's like, no. She's like, tell me.
You're
And
trying
he's-
to be clean
Nah,
now.
nah,
I'm not
nah,
trying
yeah.
to. Yeah.
And so he says that one of the places where he delivers from has a shipping crate that's been in this abandoned warehouse, and no one's come to claim it. And it probably belongs to some rich billionaire, but it's been
They
there the
won't
whole
even
time.
notice the shit's gone. We just
Right.
steal it and it's okay.
Yeah, and he's like, he doesn't know what's inside of
Yeah.
it, but it's got to be worth money to some degree. And so she ends up agreeing to go and check it out.
And they go and break into this place. Well, they don't even have to break in. He knows the code.
Yeah, he
And
knows the
it-
code,
yeah.
but they break into
to
the
container itself, and
Yes.
then once they get into the container, there is a large safe, and they start banging it with a sledgehammer straight into the front of it like
Didn't make
fucking
any goddamn
morons.
sense. I'm
Like, what are you
How
guys
is
doing?
that?"
Why don't you go kick it? Maybe that'll help. You know.
right? Why don't
Uh,
you just take the whole safe with you?
And it's funny because she's sitting there banging it like an idiot for who knows how long. Both of them are sweaty and tired, so they've probably been in there for 20 minutes doing this, if not longer. And then she's like, yeah, it's not gonna work like this. And he goes,
He's like, yeah, well, if I couldn't do it, then you definitely can't do it.
and she looks at it
she's
for a
like-
second. She's like, oh yeah, and holds it straight up and goes bang and just knocks
Bang.
the whole. And I'm going like, it took you to now to try something else.
Yeah, you just
I
now
mean,
thinking of that.
But that's
Okay.
also not how
Whatever.
safes work. So
It's-
even
it's
if you
not.
do knock the
It
dial
doesn't-
off,
you're not getting in the fucking
latch
safe.
is still gonna
Engaged.
be
It's going to be
So,
engaged. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then this guy
but
starts
horror
taking
movies, man.
a crowbar to it, which would not work at all. But whatever. We're just
Horror
it's
movies,
a-
bro.
But
Horror
this
movie
is a
logic.
box.
Go with it.
So-
But even from this point, they're already setting up the box in a box in a box in a box thing because
Right.
like we're in a
Whole
gated
Russian doll
gated area that's inside a shipping container. I'm sorry, we're
Inside of a building.
inside of a
inside
building.
a house,
There's a
inside
ship
of a
container
container,
inside of a
inside
safe,
of a safe.
and then there's the lament configuration inside of this small wooden box because it's the box that we saw traded at the beginning of the movie. And
Right.
the way that it seems is that it's just been hanging out in here, lost, right? And when they open it up, the guy, what's his name? Alex, is that it?
Trevor.
Trevor. So Trevor's all like, oh, this is worthless. I'm not gonna be able to move this. I don't even know what to do with this
He's
thing.
like, I thought there'd be some bonds in here or
Right,
something.
some bonds. That's it. Yeah, yeah.
Bro.
Because this is Lethal Weapon. Like,
You know?
yeah, that's.
And another good thing to note before this scene started is that he did give Riley liquor.
Yes.
And she sat there and she was like smelling it and she's like, oh, and so she started getting sauced.
Right.
that's
So
just
they
to
went and
move
robbed
us
this
forward.
place with her being sauced, which sounds great. Well, then you know what? I'll excuse her banging on the front of the thing for so long. She was
Right?
sauced.
She was drunk.
Okay,
She's like,
whatever.
I don't know what to do.
But so he's
You know?
looking at it, and he's just like, oh, I can't do anything with this. I wish they had bonds, whatever. And then so she looks at it and goes, hey, I could hold on to that thing.
About to say, can I just have it if you don't want it?
Right? Can't I
Yeah,
just
have it if
hang
you
on to
don't
this
want it.
thing?
She's like, I'll just hold on to it.
Yeah.
Until we
And
figure
he's
out what
like,
to do with it.
that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's like until we figure out what to do with it, you
Yeah.
just go ahead and take it with you, and then I'll see if I can find an appraiser.
And of course, I was immediately
That's what he says.
suspicious right there.
Well,
when that
yeah,
happened. I was
it's
just
like,
like,
well, because the whole
scream.
time throughout the movie, he's like he doesn't want to touch it. He obviously he seems like he knows more about it than
he's letting on.
Than he's letting
Yeah.
on.
But it takes a while for you to
Well,
realize
I don't think initially. Yeah, initially he did.
No,
he seemed
no,
like he
it's-
was legitimately like, okay, well, we need to find a buyer. This is
Yeah.
all that was in here. Like, this is some bullshit. And
But
so she
it's-
wants to keep it and take it.
Him being so eager is the only thing that like threw up a red flag to me because really quickly he's
Mhm.
like, yeah, you should hold on to that, and I'm going,
Yeah.
okay,
It's like,
alright."
yeah. I mean, I think it's one of those situations where it's like,
I kind of thought he didn't want to get caught. That's the way that
know?
I took it, as
Uh-huh.
like, well, if you hold on to this, if it's got a tracker in it or something, your ass is on the line.
Because I
not
mean,
me.
really, because his whole character was always kind of like
Skeevy.
a little skeevy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was going to use that term exactly.
That's
yeah,
really. I mean, that's the feeling. He's
kinda a little
skeevy. I don't know how else to say it. That's skeeviness right there.
He's
Like
super skeevy
it's
dude.
it's
Stevie
like
Wonder.
From Breaking Bad.
Jesse Pinkman.
Like Jesse, skeevy, like that
Yeah,
same
he's a little
skeevy.
Yeah, he does have that. He has that. Aaron Michael Paul. What's
We're
his
gonna
name?
get Aaron Michael Paul, sure, Michael Aaron Paul, something.
Yeah.
I don't
Aaron
know.
Paul. Someone. He
Hey, how
definitely
much-
has that Jesse Pinkman energy.
He
We
does.
got 5 minutes.
Right. How much time we got left?
5.
Yeah, 5.
5.
Yeah, I have a timer up right now, and so yeah, I guess since the timer has come up into conversation, we might as well restart.
We're gonna restart. Bear with us for just a second, people. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bear with us, please. Thank you.
For House of the Dragon, we're able to.
Okay, we're back.
We didn't have to restart it. Did we have to restart House of the Dragon last time? No, we didn't. So I think you do get that one person chat, that 1-to-1,
Right.
with no restriction.
I gotcha.
Multiple people.
We will remedy this by next time that we do the private cast or the.
Heard that before. So look, okay, so
Oh damn!
y'all said that last week.
Trey getting salty.
I am. Anyway, okay, so they take the lament configuration, and she ends up going back home. Now she gets home and she's rustling around, making a lot of noise. And Matt is laying in bed with Colin, and Colin's like, "Don't you get out of this bed." Leave her alone. And Matt's like, I cannot. And so he does. He gets up and goes and turns the lights on.
I need to go dad at her.
Yeah, right.
Dad
she
at
needs
her.
to be dadded at.
Yeah.
And so he goes out there and dad's at her. And she's just trying to get her shoes off. And she's a little tipsy. I don't know how she got that drunk. Yeah, so he's just like, what the fuck, man? He's like, you're drunk, aren't you? She's like, yeah, are you jealous? You know what I'm saying? What, bitch? I'm drunk. What you gonna do about it? He said, get out. He said, tomorrow, he said, go to sleep and then pack your shit tomorrow. Then he said, I'm not trying to control you. And I'm like, you are literally trying to
That's
control her.
exactly what he's been doing the whole movie. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like. And
Yeah, but most folks that are controlling like that don't realize that's what they're doing because they really think that their control is your better interest. You need to listen to me. I know what's better for you. I'm not.
With her being a former addict, you kind of have to sympathize with him a little bit.
Well, to a degree, because here's the thing about it is like when you're dealing with people who are addicts in that way, that pressure is the best way to push
to make them go back. Yeah,
exactly.
Totally.
That's one thing that you just learned through.
No, man, you have to be supportive. You can't just be demanding like that,
right?
Because then they go, well, I feel like shit. I'm gonna go do whatever it is I do.
Well, but that said, right? Like Matt is probably not equipped to have been taking care of a recovering addict. Yeah. So I mean, just because he's not good at what he's trying to do, doesn't make him bad character. in
No,
any
no,
way.
no,
None of us
no,
said
that's
that.
not-
No,
no,
none of
I'm
us
saying
said
that
that.
at
No,
Or
but
that
that
his
situation could have
perspective
been
is
handled in a more
all. He could have stayed
delicate
his
way.
ass in bed.
It
That's
could have,
right.
yeah.
Should have stayed his
but
ass in
coulda
bed.
just-
But
wouldn't
he is
nobody
a
be dead.
flawed character.
He could have just boned really loud in his room and kept
There
her
you
up
go.
so she can't go to sleep.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Now what? Now what? You gotta be creative. You gotta be thoughtful. But she can't even get her shoes off, and he's like, well, tomorrow. He's like, go to sleep, and tomorrow pack your things and leave. And she's like, I don't believe you. She's like, if you really want to say it, say it. And she screams at him, get the fuck out. And he screams at her, get the fuck out. And so, so she packs a bag, and Colin tries to stop her. And Colin's like, hey, he's just mad right now. Like, don't fucking leave. And of course, she's very upset. So she does. And she gets to her car, kicks her side view mirror off, and, gets in her car and drives off.
Drives the fuck off, yeah.
Doesn't have anywhere to go. So ends up parking her car. Getting out, looking through her trunk, she found I'm sorry, she looked in her trunk and found a pill bottle and ends up dumping the pills out onto the ground because she's like, I'm not going to take them, whatever. And so she grabs the lament configuration, she has that, and then she stops and says, I guess I'll take 3 of them. And so she pops those and walks off to a park, a playground with the lament configuration.
Yep.
Where she starts playing around with it
and sitting on the merry-go-round. Yeah. And I like that scene a lot where the pills start kicking in. She leans back, and then she's got it in her hands, and she's laying there, and then she just starts spinning, and then she just vaguely sees that Cenobite figure as she passes, and it just sits her right the fuck up. Like, she snaps right back into reality, and she's like,
yes.
Okay,
Like,
what the hell did I just see?
That?
What did I just see? And we know what's up.
So she's actually playing with the lament configuration and manages to unlock its next form, which each form that we go through of the lament config of the I guess I hate to say it, the puzzle box in this situation, because there are so many configurations.
It is more like a puzzle box than it's ever been, right?
Right, absolutely.
It's always just kind of had one puzzle on the other ones.
Well, there have been 3 that they've seen. Like, we've seen Lament, we've seen Leviathan, and we've seen Lazarus.
Yeah.
That's about.
Was it Lazarus?
No, it's Lauderant.
Lauderant?
The star.
Oh, the star, the star, the one that looks like the 2 pyramids in each other.
Right.
Yeah. Which to me is the Incal, because that's the way the Incal looks.
Yes. Yeah. Right. And so we've only really seen those, but this actually takes us through like all 7 of the different formations. And so it's kind of weird to reference it properly. Anyway, so she unlocks lore, the second configuration.
Config 2.
And so, but with each configuration, they all require a sacrifice. So a blade pops out. She manages to not get stuck by the blade. And so we have a Cenobite.
That actually makes me think of the very beginning of the movie, because I wanted to say something about this, and this is dope that they did this. So when I was watching the dumb kid at the beginning solve the lament configuration in front of Voight. Right? And he's sitting there messing with it. He holds it right in the center. He does one of the ends for number 2. He does the second end for number 2. And he's holding it right there where the blade is, and it pops out. And I thought to myself, well, this trap is very contingent on you holding it in a specific spot. And then so when you see her solve it, she does not hold it that way. And I was like, okay, cool. You did it.
And the funny thing is, with each configuration, the blade is in a different location, so you really never know. But it's the whole thing about the puzzle box as a whole is that it's supposed to be like an intoxicating experience, right? Like it's supposed to be like all encompassing. If you're playing with that thing, then nothing else exists.
It's pure joy.
Like the original version of it also was made by like a serial killer who made toys. It was kind of like Old Man Star from The Seventh Guest. But it actually had like little musical. It had a little music box in it, and so you'd also hear these tones playing while you're going through the shit. And so, she managed to not get stabbed, and the gasp shows up, and it's like, well, if not you, then another. Choose another, and she's like, the fuck is going on? These drugs. I ain't never had a hallucination like this. But
And that's when her brother
it cuts
shows up.
to Matt.
Yeah.
Well, it cuts to Matt in bed.
Oh,
and
yes,
the
yes,
chains
yes.
come out and grab him.
Dude,
and that scene was sick.
That shit's so good, dude.
Yeah.
Because he gets ripped up out of his bed, and it's pulling all the flesh on his chest out, you know. And then when he sits up, it's all gone. And his boyfriend's like, "Hey, did you have a bad dream?" And he's like, I guess so. Like, I guess that's what you call that. That was a
And Colin is just like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't have kicked her out, man.
Yeah.
Like, you feel bad about her.
Yeah.
And
He does
was
immediately
like,
put
all right,
that on her.
Yeah.
Put
He's
that
like,
on
I
him.
know what you're going through. Like, whatever. And
Go
Matt's
find
like,
your
okay, well,
sister.
I gotta go.
Yeah.
Gotta go find her. And he does. He finds her at the merry-go-round. She's laid down, passed out.
Which the way I feel is that's probably a place that she went all the time. You know what I mean?
Probably.
It had to be somewhere that was fairly close that he knew that she liked to go. You know?
Right.
Because
Well, he probably was also like, okay, her car's still here. She didn't go very far. She's just walking.
Exactly.
We're gonna go this way.
What's the closest?
She's she's somewhere in this vicinity, and she's laying down. And it's like, oh god, there she is. And he picks up the puzzle box to throw it away, and immediately cuts himself.
Yeah.
And so, and of course she kind of groggily is trying to see what's going on and make sense of it. But it is too late for Matt.
And the chains.
Them chains.
The chains.
Mm-hmm.
2 chains.
4 chains.
4 chains.
6 chains. Like all the chains. Take my boy out. And so essentially Matt just disappears. No, I'm sorry. Matt got cut, and Matt went into the bathroom to go clean up his cut. He told her to stay right there. He goes into the bathroom,
and she's sitting there staring at the puzzle box sitting on the ground, and she's outside. So he's in there. He's trying to wash off his wound first.
Blood that will not stop.
Right,
coming.
and this bathroom is totally the bathroom at the beginning of Silent Hill 2. It is that fucking bathroom.
It is filthy, baby.
Filthy, disgusting. The sinks don't work, and he's using this nasty septic water to wash his cut out, and I'm just like. Fuck the Cenobites. What about infection? What about?
That's what I was thinking. What about staph? But Cenobite appears. Ends up Matt. All you hear is a scream, and then we don't see Matt ever again.
Well, doesn't it do something fucked up with his reflection?
The reflection doesn't move.
The
reflection just stands there staring at
it's
him.
just him staring at himself. Yeah, totally.
Because it becomes a matter of hallucination, and all of a sudden the walls start to separate or whatever, but you don't really get much.
And that kind of effect, like that whole separating of the walls that we were talking about earlier, and all this stuff.
Inception.
But that stuff's done very tastefully. Like like I said, it feels grounded when they do it. It doesn't just all of a sudden everything looks like it's all shot on a green screen backdrop. It seems like they just augmented a room and made it work. Looks great. Yeah. But the whole time that he's being whatevered, loved on. Well, they're loving on him.
Yeah, they're loving on him.
Well, they're feeling it. He's like, no, wait, the good part comes up. Just a second.
Right. He's like, no, this is good.
No, I promise.
Like, no,
you got to just wait it out. Have some patience.
Just go with it. The problem is you're struggling.
Yeah. You got to go with the pain, man. With the pain. Accept the gift. So she's outside sitting on the curb watching the lament configuration turn into the next form because it just ate another person.
Right.
Yeah. Got to feed the box.
Yeah, and so by that point we get
don't feed the box.
We get Colin and Nora that show up, and they're like,
where the fuck Matt go? Yeah,
where's
and
Matt?
she's like,
She was like,
dude, I was sitting right here. He walked right into the bathroom. You know.
And they're like, well, he's not in there. He's gone. What the fuck? Where the fuck did he go?
And it's just like, I haven't been anywhere.
Like, well, she fucks up because she was like, I was kind of in and out. And they're like, that's the problem is that you're fucked up and you don't remember. You need to remember. And Colin, dude.
So they're blaming it on her immediately. Yeah.
That's Adam Falson.
Colin is the shit.
Adam
he really is.
Colin's the shit.
Yeah.
Dude, and he's just like, well, you need to figure this the fuck out.
I know, dude.
Because he loves that man. And Matt
you can feel it in that moment where he's like, you just lost my goddamn boyfriend. Okay.
Oh, yeah. And Matt was almost, Matt was the active one, right?
Yeah.
Matt was the one who would come up with strategies. He's the one, he was the go-getter. He's the doer.
Yeah.
Colin's the thinker.
Yep.
you know, and Colin's like, I don't know what to do without Matt, but Matt would know what to do,
Yeah.
you know, so
Yeah.
what the fuck is the situation? And so, of course, then she ends up running back to Trevor and being like, bro, like, here's what happened. I don't know what happened to my brother. And Trevor's like, we need to get rid of that goddamn box.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
dude.
Yeah. He's like, we need to get rid of it. Just stop playing with it, you know?
Yeah,
just
I love
throw
it
it
when
away.
she tries to hand it to him, and he's just like, "Nope,
Nope.
I'm
not taking that. You know
I didn't
what I'm
say
saying?
I need to get rid of it.
Right.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of that scene in Scream when the girl was like, "Oh, you know, come upstairs with me." And he was
He's
like,
like,
"I'm gonna stay down here
with the people. With the people.
Yeah, like no, I don't know. You might be the killer. I love that like level of like kind of fourth wall breaking awareness,
Right.
Where it's like, you know what? I'm not gonna do the same thing we've done for 35 plus years.
Well, and again,
Yeah.
like I said, at this point, he's very suspicious because he seems to know something is up with the box,
which I think is
I don't
less. I think
know.
that's less fourth wall breaking in this instance, and this
Right.
one is way more of him just being like, no, bad vibes, no,
Yeah,
no.
right, because I don't
Just,
think that at this point, like
he-
they say, always look at the love interest, right? We already know that,
Right.
But at this point in
Yeah.
the movie, you really, it's kind of, you're on the fence because there's a lot of other moving parts. And
right,
it's
right.
like,
It's not like a definite. Oh, it's that guy.
No, because we got a
It's- no.
skeever over here.
you know, because he's over there just like, nah, man, like if that's what happened, I believe you. I don't want to fuck with that.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't want to fuck with it either, you know. And she continues to fuck with it. So the next thing you know, she's like, okay, well, who owned the warehouse? You know, where the shipping container was, whose name is on it, and they don't have any names tied to anything. And they end up finding Serena, who was the attorney for Voight,
and that was who we saw at the beginning of the film purchasing the box.
Yes. So they find her in an old hospital, and she's like, my lungs are rotting out, you know, like, you know, I'm gonna die in this fucking place. And they're like, hey, some shit's going on. And she pulls out the goddamn lament configuration and puts it down. And Serena's like, God fucking,
you brought it here? Like she's got that look like, come on, man.
you know, she's like, what the fuck, man? And so this whole time, like, she's like, you know, having coughing fits, and she's very, you know, she's taken aback. She's like, God damn it, they brought this thing here. And Trevor is just like, we need to go. Let's go. Let's leave. Let's go. And so she fakes a coughing fit to get him to leave. She says, I need to get some water to get him to leave the room. And then she starts kind of letting Riley know, like, hey, like that thing is all the problems in the world and it will never lead to anything good.
Right.
And she tries to take it from her.
Yeah.
And she takes it and she's like, I'm trying to save you right now. And Riley starts fighting her over it. And at that point, the puzzle box closes onto Serena's finger and gets her blood. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I like the way she was talking about it because she explained. She was like, "Oh yeah, we found this thing," and she was like, "It wasn't lost. It was there for a reason.
We
put
it away.
We put it away.
She was like, yeah. We were putting it. Well, I forgot exactly how she.
Yeah, I
phrased
forgot
it,
how
but
she
that's the
phrased
thing.
it too, but
She's
it was
basically
not
trying to-
lost. We meant for it to be right there.
It was contained.
Yeah.
She's like, I was containing it. And so, but she does. She tried to remove it. She got her finger clamped. And by that point, Trevor comes back, but we all know what happens. It's way too late. Serena's over there. She's already looking bad, looking down. And, you know, of course, Riley takes the puzzle box with her when she leaves. Why not? And Trevor took it and wrapped it up and put it into the car. So they started leaving got in the car, and it was in the back seat of the car, changing underneath the clothing that he wrapped up in. Right, that was
cool.
a dope ass scene.
Yep.
That was a really cool scene. And so, of course, you got Serena in there. She starts hallucinating, like everybody's want to do. They were like, some of the orderlies were wheeling her around, and they're like, she started freaking out. We don't know what's wrong with her. And of course, they left her alone because that's what you do in that situation. And
then she went down that hallway, and there's like nobody there. And then it's like, oh no, here
it
comes.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
So then she gets massacred as well.
Yes.
So now the puzzle box is on form 3, which was
Laudrent.
Laudrent. Yeah, that's it.
Which is love. Yeah.
Mm.
So first is lament, which equals life. Second is the lore configuration, which is enlighten or knowledge. And then is lauderant, which is love. And so now we are on to love. How do we move here? This is when they start going to do research on Voight himself.
Yeah.
And so
they do the research on Voight. They find the mansion. She breaks into the mansion.
Which this is the first time that you see the mansion from the outside.
Right. So you see that the mansion is completely caged in.
I mean, if you ask me, it looks like half a lament configuration.
Yes, it does.
Which means that there's probably the other half underneath the ground. And
well, that's a possibility as well.
I bet it is an entire cube. That's just me spitballing. But I looked at it and I was like, I mean, that. You know,
it's a possibility, man, because whatever this configuration is, it's capable of deterring Cenobites. And so anyway, so we have that whole thing set up around the house. She finds a window open because horror movie logic, and it fits her whole body through it.
It's always the basement window, right? It's always
every time. Always left open for the raccoons, And so she gets in there, and one thing that we failed to mention earlier when Joey was in the same mansion, in Voight's mansion, is that Voight has a sequence of he has a fuse box with switches that control all sorts of things, from lights to music to gates that'll come closing down, skylights. So there's tons of these panels everywhere. Like the house itself is a puzzle within itself, and so she gets in there, and of course she starts flipping switches because that's what you do.
What's the name of that movie? Was it 13 Ghosts?
Yeah 13 Ghosts with the
really cool
house that would move all the time.
That's what this kind of reminded me of when I saw all that going on. It's not as intricate as what was going on in 13 Ghosts, but sequels.
It's like that with a little taste of Cube, with a little taste of what was the video game with the oldest house? Remember, girl, PsyOps. Come on, man. And the house is Control. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Bless you.
I don't know why it wasn't coming to me either.
Right. Well, I mean, all these other names we thrown around all the time. But yeah, it's kind of like that, but still not as supernatural. It's still very grounded in reality. It's just hidden passageways and different.
This is more a feat of engineering than it being some kind of
Exactly. So she's fucking around with all of that and ends up finding Voight's study or whatever, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And so she finds a book on the lament configuration.
And this is the first time we've ever seen hard and fast rules about the lament configuration for real.
Exactly.
This is a book that shows you what is up and that it changes into these forms. And that's what you're talking about as far as the laudant and all that stuff. It all relates to each of a section of the form. And we notice at the very bottom of it, it has it's in this long diamond shape. And it says Leviathan, and it being a fan of Hellraiser, oh no,
that's not it.
That's basically evil God.
Yes.
It's
like everyone thinks that Pinhead is like the leader of the Cenobites, whatever the fuck.
No, he's just a general.
He's kind of like just an ambassador.
He's a herald. That's a
he's
good
like
a
priest.
A priest, a herald, something
always,
right. No, but he's got a boss.
So Leviathan is what you're going for, and it shows in that book that you have the lament configuration, lore, lauderant. We've gone through those guys. The next one is liminal, which is for sensation.
Right.
It's a longer rectangle. Then you have the Lazarus configuration, which we saw at the very beginning of the movie, and then we have Leviathan. And after you get to Leviathan, then it shows you that whoever has a Leviathan configuration can have an audience with God. So that's the end goal.
I guess
each
when
one
you get the
requires
Leviathan configuration, that's when you get to choose. That's when you get your choice.
Yes, that's when you get your choice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is unlike anyone else that interacts with the box, which the choice is made for you. If you have the Leviathan configuration, you get a choice.
Right. If the other one, if you're just a sacrifice, then you are the plaything to the corresponding Cenobite.
Yeah.
Now, in previous iterations of Hellraiser, it didn't really matter because really we were just dealing with a lament configuration.
Mhm.
Everyone was just fair game for whatever Cenobite,
Who was ever on staff at that given moment?
Right. Yeah. Whoever was on the clock.
Who's on the clock today?
But this one, it seems like each configuration actually attributes to a specific Cenobite.
Totally.
Like the Lauderant is for the gasp.
Yeah.
Which would have previously been
Yeah,
the female Cenobite.
Yeah, what's her name
Cenobite
with the?
for,
Yeah, and she had the wire that went through her cheeks. Wouldn't it be that one?
That's Lady Nicoletta.
That's Lady
or
Nicoletta.
Deep Throat.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's a play on Lady Nicoletta,
Mhm.
because she's actually a new Cenobite per se.
Right.
Right. Yeah, because like before they always just called her Open or Deep Throat. This one is known as the Gasp.
Right, because I mean that's kind of a cool thing about this lore too, is that a lot of what we know these Cenobites as is just nicknames. They're not
right.
Like I mean,
right.
I'm pretty
Pinhead
sure
was not
Pinhead's
even called Pinhead in the movie. It's just something the fans started calling him.
Because I mean,
since Hellraiser 2, and Clive Barker actually hated that name. Because he didn't know what a Pinhead is.
He's like, come on, man, come on, he's cooler than that. Like, don't.
And then he became the definitive Pinhead.
Right.
And then people forget about the other Pinhead, and it's like, wow, that's kind of crazy.
Right.
Yeah. One of us.
Ooh. We can do that sometimes, guys.
Fucking freaks.
I think we've all seen it. We're good. I think. But yeah.
So she reads all these rules and finds out more about it. And then
Trevor, Colin, and Nadia eventually find her at the mansion.
Yes. Yeah.
Because that's like the next thing, and she's just like, "Hey, look, here's
there.
all the
they're
lore."
just all in there. Because what does she like? Take a nap or something?
Well, no, it's like she was just, who knows how long she was in that room, and what happened? I'm trying to remember.
Like,
exactly
I really
what
think that's
they
what
just
happened.
find her.
I think
they just find her.
I think
they
she was
just
laying on the
show
couch or something. I really think she was like. Maybe I'm wrong.
No,
on
she
that.
did. I think she did fall asleep.
Yeah, I think she was taking a little bit of a nap, and then they all just bust up in there, and she's like, well, what the fuck? What are you guys doing here? And she's like, why do you doing here? We gotta go.
Yeah.
Leave this shit alone.
We talked to Trevor. Trevor said he couldn't find you, and so now we're all here. And that tells you everything.
Is this when we get the sneaky person? Is this when we get some?
Because
some
Nadia
peeks,
gets stuck in the walls.
Well,
because she starts fucking with the switches and then sees a door open.
Well, okay. First, it's very important.
That's right. I don't.
Colin and Riley end up separating from the group because Riley. Okay. I'm trying to remember exactly how that whole thing played out. Riley's trying to explain to Colin what's going on with the entire place and with the box and all this shit. During that time, Trevor and her name wasn't Nadia. You said Nadia and it threw me off. That's from What We Do in the Shadows, bro. Nora. Trevor and Nora are still in that bar area together. Okay. And so while No, Riley cut herself. Riley had cut herself with the box, and what they were like, you have to choose another.
That was at this point. I thought that was a little bit later.
I thought that was that.
Because I think I think we see what's going on with.
What made them separate? Do you remember that?
They're looking for.
Colin asked to talk to Riley.
So, because he's like, I don't know what to do
just
without
that
Matt.
simple. Colin was just like, give us a second, and so they
just walked out.
Off.
Yeah, because she hadn't cut herself yet in the story.
Right. Okay. So that was later down the line.
But we also see somebody peeking.
Yeah, so there's clearly somebody through the walls. And so then you have Nora and Trevor fucking around with switches, and because Trevor goes to the bathroom, Nora starts flipping switches, turns on the music that we mentioned earlier, eventually finds because she doesn't want to drink. He tries to offer her a drink, and she said, we don't drink while Riley's around. And he's like, well, I'm going to the bathroom, and I'm going to drink this shit by myself, And so she flips the switch, ends up opening up a secret passageway into the walls. And, of course, she goes in there.
By herself, because why not? That sounds good.
Why wouldn't you do that in this caged-up house? I don't know. Gets locked in there and gets shanked upon. Now Riley and Colin were in the other room talking about the lament configuration, but the box was gone. She put the box down, but the box was gone. So you see Nora get stabbed, and she's got the box, which is larger than it's ever been before, stabbed into her back, and
and it's just hanging there.
Yeah, it was just hanging.
It was in there, man.
Jesus. So So Aaron Paul comes, and he's hitting switches, trying to figure out a way to get her out of there, but it is too late.
Yep, and then she gets ripped apart.
Well, no, he got her out, but she would already been stabbed, because then at that point everybody's like, we need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, because that's when that cool the van separating to create
that's where she
dies.
That's right. I was thinking in that back hallway, but
that was really really
you're
good.
right. Yeah, because they all jump in the van, they leave the mansion,
speed off, and she starts her hallucination there while they're arguing over the way to get back out, and every turn they make is like a wrong turn. It's almost like the lands themselves are reconfiguring themselves, and every once in a while you'll see like bits of the road start to drop out as well, because like that hallucination can also be witnessed by others, even though they don't know what they're seeing in those moments. The Cenobites they're coming.
Yeah.
And so and the way they take Nora was just spectacular, because she's like actually just in the back seat of the van, but the van elongates into a long hallway, and all of a sudden she is completely removed from them, and they're like,
and that's when they realize it too, like as it's closing, like that. They start looking and they're like, what the fuck? And she's just going away, and it's like,
dude, that shit was crazy. And so 86 Nora, and so then Trevor's like, well, we need to go back. We got to go back to the house. And they're like, why would we go back there? He's like, well, that's where Nora's car is.
Yeah, well, that's where Riley's car is.
That's where Riley's car is. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we're going back for Riley's vehicle, which is whatever it is. And they get there, and lo and behold, we got Cenobites
coming up.
Yeah. So they lock themselves in the mansion, and then what is it? Old Voight here reveals himself, and he's got some kind of fucked up like machine.
He has a very weird looking
it's almost like a hand crank without the hand crank, but it's like what it is it's like pulling at like his nerves.
Yeah, it's like it has all these like coils that are pulling at just strands coming out of his body, and so it's hard to really tell what's happening at first.
Yeah, first you're like, what are all these strings? This is weird.
Right. And so every once in a while it activates and starts to coil and pull these things out of his body, and it causes him immense pain. And of course he ends up talking to Trevor, and he's like, hey man, he's like, you were supposed to have handled this shit. You're failing, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. I feel like
what a twist.
I feel like we completely missed a step. But whatever, because all that was after they had first stabbed a Cenobite with the box. They stabbed a Cenobite with the box, and it actually worked to be the next sacrifice, because Pinhead had told her, he's like, hey, you have to finish what you started. It's like, you have to
what
finish
happens
what you
is she tells her to make the choice. You got to replace it, right? And then they go to run into the house. And at that point, that's when, like through the cage, Trevor ends up getting his arm bitten. So he gets Chatterbox bites that whole section of his arm, and then to save him, she stabs
the Chatterer.
Well, and there's that
I keep calling him Chatterbox.
Little tension in that moment, because at the time she's sitting there, she's just looking at Trevor, and like you think she's gonna end up stabbing him to save herself, but she like swings and a miss right into the Chatterer. So
and
it's funny because like he just kind of backs up like,
there you go. I don't know if it was awe or I don't know. He might have been like, yes,
finally,
somebody's
going home.
My turn. Let's go. And so and at that point, they run back inside, and she ends up cutting herself with the box, because she was winning. Like she was winning entirely.
The reason she cut herself is that when she was talking to Pinhead. Yeah, it was when she was talking to Pinhead that she cut herself, because when she denied Pinhead's offer to sacrifice her friends, because she was like, I've already done enough, and Pinhead makes the knife come out exactly where her hand was, and she goes enough is a myth.
Damn it. Yes,
enough is
that
a
line.
myth.
Yes, that line. And it's funny because like when you think about it and how many configurations are left, there are just enough of her friends to take us all the way to the final configuration.
Yeah, I know. But I also like it because as soon as Chatterer gets taken, it's like you kind of see a little smirk on Pinhead's face. Like Pinhead looks at it like, yo, hey,
that was clever.
That's clever.
That was clever.
I haven't seen that one before.
Right. Even though in most cases, like, you don't want to cheat these guys because I mean you're gonna lose. But all that to say, it worked out, and
it counted.
Totally counted. So then she comes up with a plan to bait in another one of the Cenobites and use them as a sacrifice to get to the next configuration. Because the whole point, her whole goal is to get to Leviathan and make her wish of resurrection to resurrect her brother Matt. So that's why they're going through all of this. That's her whole theory is that if I can get to resurrection, if I can get to Lazarus, then I can resurrect my brother. And she ends up getting cut. And at that point, they end up trying to lure in that Cenobite.
Yeah. They're like, okay, so we're gonna keep the gates open, and we're gonna get one of them to come inside, and we're gonna trap it, and then I'm gonna shank it. And they're like, you're gonna let him inside? And Colin's totally not with this idea. Like, no, this is a bad idea. Why would we? No, we're like safe in here. And she's like, no, they want me. You got to understand, they want me right now. You need to get out of here. You guys just need to leave. And he's like, I don't want to lose my friend. So he's not about it. He's not gonna leave her behind. And then they try to pull off this dumbass plan. Is what they do.
And it was going just fine.
It was
she's
going
running
okay.
away from the Cenobite, and the Cenobite all of a sudden starts running super fast, and she's running away. Aaron Paul's over there. I'm sorry, I keep calling Trevor that. But she's like, close the gate, whatever. He's over there bleeding out of his arm. He closes the gate. It closes onto the Cenobite, but she drops the box.
I thought that it killed it at first because it totally makes a crunch and squish sound when it gets on its head. It's like
Yeah.
And I was thinking it totally fucked it up, but no, it's just trapped.
It's trapped.
It's like a dog in a fence, just roo.
Yeah, but she dropped the motherfucking box.
She did. Because on the other side, behind him, and now this gate's closed, so now she's here, and then she's yelling out, and they're all like, "Just finish it! Just finish the thing!" She's like, "I don't have the box. I can't. I dropped it." And at that point, they're trying to get Trevor to get up off his ass and help. Because, dude, hey man, your arm's bit, your legs ain't broken. All right, get the hell up, right? But he doesn't do that. He instead opens the gate so that Colin can come in and kill the Cenobite from behind, right? And so Colin comes in and he's like, okay, where's the box? Where's the box? Where's the box? And she's like, I dropped it right there. It should be right there on the floor. He's like, there's no box. There's no box here at all. And then you see Trevor and he looks over and he notices that the door is open behind, and Trevor's eyeball on the ground like. Which actually, you know what, we did skip a part, which is Voight talking to Trevor.
Right. Yeah.
We skipped that part, or sometime earlier. It wasn't that long before this, but sometime earlier, while Trevor was alone, Voight pops out and he's like, "I gave you one fucking job. Just feed the box. That's all you were supposed to do is feed the box."
That's when we have our reveal that Voight is still alive. He's the one that was in the walls. He's the one who stabbed Nora, and that's when we mentioned the device that was on him.
Yes.
But one major part of that is him talking to Trevor like you had one fucking job.
Yep.
And Trevor's like, "I'm working on it."
Yeah.
Like, look at the situation.
He's like, "You brought your girlfriend up here," and she's like, No, she's just a mark. I promise. Like, I just, I got her into this. She just really got into the box, and now she's.
We got all these friends and all these people.
Nah, man, we got
a plan. And we're good. Yeah, because I mean, that's the thing where you ask yourself how much he actually cares about her. Like going back through the movie, like you
realize he
might have actually. Well, I'm not sure at that. It's like he might but he might also just be such a piece of shit that he's like,
Oh.
my survival matters more.
Just too skeevy.
It's
That's
like, or
all. He
maybe
might have
if-
cared, but he's just too
or
skeevy.
maybe if we could just get away with killing like her friends, then
Yep.
maybe she'll live. Like, who knows? But he does have that kind of Jesse Pinkman vibe where he's kind of out of control of his own situation. Because even Voight says it, he's like, it's the best deal that he'll ever get in his pathetic life, you know? And it's like he just seems like he just has zero control.
I agree. But so back to where we were, you know, old Pinkman notices that that the box is gone, sees that the door's open, and he immediately knows. He's like, "Oh, Voight got this shit," right? And then I think that's when we get the reveal of because
Voight comes in and stabs Colin.
He comes in, stabs Colin, right? And then that's when we get the reveal of what's actually
he stabs
going
him
on
and drags that shit up.
He does.
Boy.
He stabs him, drags it up. Colin falls to the ground, and then so everybody is pretty much in this cage except for
the Cenobites are still outside.
Oh, the Cenobites are still outside, but what's her name? God damn it, what's her name?
Riley.
Riley. I was like Rita. No. So Riley is on the other side of the cage with the one that's stuck in it closing, right? But everybody else is trapped inside. So then he's like, well, no, now I'm going to initiate my plan, and he starts flipping switches and opening up the outside gates to let the Cenobites in, and they all start coming into their own individual hallways, right? And they
he tells Jesse that he needs to get Colin because Colin runs off. And he's like, we need to keep him close.
You got it.
You know, we need him to be close for this to work.
He wants the ritual to happen in that room. That's the whole idea.
And the funniest thing about it is like when Trevor's chasing Colin, like the whole time he's like, come on, man, it's over. He's like, dude, I mean, just really, he's like, dude, it's like, you're done, bro. Like, I mean, you can run, but it's not going to change anything. Like, come back, man. You know, it was so weird, you know, because he's over there bleeding out of the arm and he's feeling bad. But I mean, even like when he's like trying to get him back, he's not like threatening in any way. He's just like, come on, bro. Like, you're done. And so anyway, proceed.
So at that point, you know, all the Cenobites, like I said, start coming in to the hallways on the outside, and then he flips the switches on the other side of them, and then they're all trapped in these little boxes, and he starts having a dialogue with Pinhead, and he's basically like, you know, I'm done with this shit. I'm done with having this thing in me. You guys need to remove this. You thought that this was a fortress. This is a cage, and I've trapped you here, and I will not let you go until I talk to your boss.
Exactly.
I want to speak to the manager. I want to speak to the manager. And then she goes, well, sir, we don't take returns. We only do exchanges. Okay. So you can get something else for equal or lesser value, but you cannot.
Because he chose liminal. You know, he chose sensation. He wanted to feel more.
Oh, and he felt everything.
And he felt everything. And he was like, you know, well, I was anticipating, you know, higher levels of pleasure.
He was
all
like,
they
I thought
do
I'd have
is pain. And so what they did was make that contraption that pulled at his nerves at random intervals, but it would stop short of ever letting his body go numb. So he would always feel it every time it activated. It would just be like that fresh suffering, because if we know Cenobites, it's all about the suffering,
the freshest suffering.
Yes, absolutely. And so Colin ends up with
that'd be good to like have Pinhead as like a chef, and it's like the freshest suffering.
Yeah, dude. Like but Colin starts hallucinating, of course. He's with Riley, and you got those wires that come out. Just start grabbing him and
wrapping him up.
And wrapping him up.
He gets yoked. They pretty much do him like William Wallace there. They string his ass up and pretty much hit him with that crucify kind of stance, but it's like multiple wires, so they're all digging in and pulling his flesh off of his skin.
And he's got wires around his waist too, and legs. And all,
And you think that it's about to just peel that straight down.
Exactly.
You know, but she gets offered an exchange because she doesn't want him to die, of course. powers.
You
And
gotta
so
give me another then. You know how this
you gotta give me
goes.
some. Yeah, right. We're taking somebody.
Yeah,
you
that's
know.
right. It's only exchanges here. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
No
right.
returns.
Yeah, and Riley gives them Trevor.
Absolutely. So
Ah,
yeah, it gives them Trevor, makes it an exchange, and it's funny because like that was that the gasp that she was talking to at that point in time?
Yeah, she
it
was
was,
talking to the she was talking to the gas because she went into that side hallway part with the light that was coming in through the top, and the gas was just stringing calling up,
right?
Yeah.
And
then
the gas was like,
because Trevor runs in, and Trevor's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's kind of cool. Like he totally just stands there like it's all fine, you know what I mean? And then of course Riley comes in freaking out, and that's when she makes the exchange. She's like, okay, fine. Yeah. And then starts trying to go after Trevor, and Trevor's trying to stop her
because she stabbed him with the full Leviathan configuration.
Yes, this is this is when it had already.
While two things are happening, this whole thing with Collins happening on one side, and this conversation between Pinhead and Voight are happening underneath that skylight. Yeah, while he's trying to call down Lazarus.
Leviathan.
Leviathan. He's trying to call down Leviathan.
Yeah.
And Pinhead's just like, nah, man, we exchange things while another exchange is happening over here. And they actually did let Colin go. I was kind of surprised. I was like, holy shit, black dude made it. Hey.
Seriously, I know.
I mean, there are rules, and these modern horror movies are subverting these rules. I'm telling you, Scream had a point. And so Pinhead tells Voight, it's like, it was never sensation that you wanted. You never wanted sensation. What you wanted lies within power.
It was within power. And he started looking, and he's like, this sounds maybe good. What
because like his whole action starts to fall apart.
Oh, dude, I love it because it looks like he's vomiting it, but through his chest, and you just see all these pieces starting to fall out, and you see like the drippy, like thick blood and all the nerves, hanging nerves,
and shit,
and all that shit. And then with his back, you can see that it completely crushed his spine and the whole. Dude, this scene right here is my favorite thing, like as far as the gory side of Hellraiser, this is probably my favorite thing that I've seen in the entire series.
It was good.
It was so well done, and the way it grows back, and the way that like the skin looks like
all the skin reforms, and I mean they regenerate him. So for a brief moment, like he is all the way back, and he's like, I won.
Dude, and he starts poking at his chest. He's like, I did.
I did it. I did it. And
but then Leviathan sends its chains,
and it goes right into the same spot that just healed up too.
One giant hook.
It just starts.
One big ass hook on
it's
a
like
chain.
A meat hook,
Boom.
Dude. It's like it almost looks like in the Matrix when he's being picked up out of the water, like right after Neo ejects from the the sewer system, and they got that thing, and he's just kind of going like, it looks like it would be like connected to a ship. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, I mean, it's that size of a hook and just drags him straight up to the skylight.
Yep. Dude, but the right before this happens though, you see that the Leviathan configuration is the representation of whatever this Leviathan thing, like this is like inconceivable, right? Like who knows what the fuck this is? This could be a portal opening up in the sky with a ship coming out of it. This could be a object that is sentient. Like who the fuck knows what it is? But it is the largest version of the Leviathan configuration you could imagine, and you just see the tiny point coming through the clouds, and it's aligning perfectly with the way that this guy's skylight on his lament house is set up, So he's being pulled up into
you called me, I came
slowly as this is going on, right? So then he gets yoked out of there.
And we have Pinhead having the conversation with Riley. It's like, okay, well, what do you choose?
What do you want?
And because honestly, like Riley is still the one who achieved the Leviathan configuration, especially after stabbing Trevor, making that last exchange. The deal that was going on with Voight was a completely different deal that had really nothing to do with anything. That's him coming back, talking to the manager.
That's it. I have my receipt,
I still have the receipt. I haven't damaged it at all. Look, I tried. You know, and so they ask her, what will she choose? And she's like, I don't want any of your gifts.
Man,
I don't want
but
any of
her
them.
brother shows up. Matt shows up behind her and starts talking to her, but he's just standing there like a husk of a person.
Yeah, he's just like, make a choice, bring me back, you know. And she's just like, she turns and looks at him, kind of tears up a little bit, turns back to Pinhead, and she's like, no, like I don't want.
I've seen your gifts.
All of your gifts bring suffering. Like I don't want any of your gifts. And so Pinhead's just like, oh, so you've chosen to live with the weight of the harm that you've caused others. You've chosen lament.
It's perfect, so, dude. It is perfect. When they hit that, I was like, oh my god. And the way that Pinhead's,
right back to the lament configuration,
and it starts over again, and it starts over again. It's like. Not only that, but the way that they describe it, it's almost like Pinhead is looking at Riley's situation and going, wait a second, you want
this is worse.
Live that dude? That's you chose the worst option.
She's like, your suffering hasn't even started yet. You know, like
you're gonna have to remember all the bad decisions that you've made for your whole life up to this point and live with them for the rest of your life. You can do that, lament, dude.
Yeah. So the puzzle box goes back to the lament configuration, right back where God damn it,
we know what that means.
And Cenobites go away.
And then we get to see what's happening with Voight. Voight gets his audience with God.
Yes,
and
he does.
Am I wrong
and he
about
gets
this?
Peeled apart.
Is that not the guy that played Wormtongue in Lord of the Rings?
I'm not sure. I can look that up because he did look very, very familiar to me.
Right. Yeah. And it wasn't until the end, and I looked at him, I was like, that looks a lot like Wormtongue. Like, it looks like that guy.
But they do. It's like he has his audience, and that was a really good.
That's an amazing. I don't even want to ruin it for whoever's listening to us. Like seriously, like we haven't really explained what happened in a lot of the gore scenes because they are just art to witness. Like if you're into this kind of thing, this is top notch.
Which makes me think that Leviathan is just some intergalactic, like, eccentric artist. You know, the human form is his canvas. You know,
right? Because he's just a
flesh mancer.
He's just a flesh mancer.
Yeah, they're letting you know like where the Cenobites come from. You know, like how they became. Because if you watch the older movies, even Pinhead will make like little what they call them pseudo Cenobites. You know, the CD guy. Do you remember that? With the CDs
God, that was so bad, dude.
It was so bad. And so, choosing power gives you ultimate power, but maybe not the way that you were hoping for it. And what gets created is a spectacle. And I think that's going to end up leading us into our sequel. Because when you first see him and like his skin, everything about him is completely different. Like he doesn't look like the emaciated Voight that we saw on Earth.
No, this looks like they boiled him. It looks like they just
look like powder,
right?
You know,
hairless and pale and craggy skin, and then his eyes change color to that like, creepy Cenobite look.
Cenobite look, exactly. And so they turn him into a Cenobite.
God, it's so good.
And it
also looks like he's just tripping on DMT the whole time.
Exactly. I'd be mind blown if we don't see this Cenobite again because it is so spectacular.
Seriously, yeah.
You know.
So do you think he'll have the ship behind him, like as a back piece? So. You think he'll be like a
yes.
They look like an angel, kind of.
Look like an angel, yes.
Oh,
yeah, dude.
Man.
That was a powerful image, man. When I saw it, I'm like, oh my god.
So we kind of got two endings here, kind of.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We got the ending to two different stories that were going on, and they both had almost the opposite. No, absolutely the opposite. Thing. So this is two people's path with the Cenobites, and there is a way to win.
There's a way to live.
There's a way to live.
Life, you know, but everything else is suffering.
Everything else is suffering. But that's also part of the point, right? Is even choosing life, you're still choosing suffering. That's part of the poignancy of I think this story, where it's like it doesn't matter what choice you have, you're going to suffer. You have to accept that. If you don't, then you're just fighting against,
Fighting against nature.
Yeah.
It's like if you encounter the box and if you interact with the box, the next step is suffering.
It's suffering.
That's just it. You know, you've chosen it by interacting with the lament configuration. And so, like I said, like you were saying, it seemed like the end of one story and the beginning of another, and actually those could be reversed as well. You know, it could be the end of Riley's story and the beginning of Voight's story. It could be the end of Voight's story, the beginning of Riley's story. It could be the beginning for them both. You know, so who knows where this is going to go?
Because I could easily see the Cenobites come back and fuck with Riley again. But I could also see them take this in such a different direction that she's just not part of it anymore. You know,
right?
They're going to go fuck on somebody else over here.
Right. Because I mean, they did.
Which would be ideal.
Yeah. Because usually it comes down to a situation like Voight, where he tries to escape the box, and then they end up trying to find him or get to him. And that's the same thing that happened with Frank Cotton.
We've
Frank
never
Cotton
seen this before, right? We've
What
never seen somebody choose. Well, like we've never seen somebody avoid pain like this.
No.
We've never seen it. You know, she literally got away with just a scratch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is amazing. It's unprecedented in the Hellraiser.
Like a scratch, your arm's off.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
How about you?
But it really is, you know, and you know, because usually with the lament configuration being the main focal point of any Hellraiser movie, that's just all that we thought. That's all that we knew, you know. And so
we're learning new things, and they work within the canon.
Yeah, because now it brings up questions, right? Like, what happens if you choose Lauderdale? What is love like? That's what I want to know. I want to know what love is like. Because
I want to know what Lazarus would have done.
Right. Well, probably
I guess
created something that would be alive forever and would always haunt her. It might try to kill her and just never stop.
What about the first?
Or maybe
Hellraiser?
He's alive but in pain forever.
Right. That's what I was thinking. Like in the first Hellraiser, like that whole, you know, he's kind of been brought back thing. Maybe that was a product of Lazarus potentially. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, dude.
I don't know. And so we'll see what comes from this series, but they definitely piqued my interest.
Absolutely. You know? This was good.
This was good. This was
real good.
It's a good continuation. I think they kept it as solid to the source material as they could have, and it felt like Clive Barker to me. Like it was it was as sexy as it needed to be. It was as horrific as it needed to be. It was you know, I thought that it was a little soap opera-y at times, you know, like a little TV drama-y at times. But that's also it also never got cheesy in the acting where I thought that it was a problem. You know what I mean? I was like, okay.
And then I'll also take all the like tactile depth that they've added to the box itself. You know, like that's the coolest thing to me is like, you know, there's really they've given so much depth to this thing that really didn't need it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Hey, this thing just summons demons from time and space, and that's just how it works. And cool. Okay, we don't need an explanation. But now it's like, wow, there's actually more to this thing. And so we'll see where it all goes, man. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm with it.
Hulu did a good job.
They did good. They did good. But hey, thank you all for hanging out. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this one up.
Scott, thank you guys so much for joining us and being in the chat. And you know, if you want, check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Stitcher, and anywhere else you like to listen to podcasts. I am LazerPunch86 on Twitch and LazerPunch on YouTube. Phil, you are Lentarg everywhere. Trey, you are Power of GraeSacle on Twitch and just GraeSacle on YouTube. So check out our individual channels and join us next Saturday for more spoopy months. Ooh,
also we're gonna get down on some Overwatch 2 for late cast. So come and kick it with your boys.
Oh, and you know what's happening Monday, right? You know what's happening Monday? Season finale of House of the Dragon.
There you go.
What?
That's the finale, right?
No.
Did it not say? I watched a thing earlier.
Are there only
said
8
finale.
episodes?
It said I watched a.
Usually there are 10. Are there only 8?
Man, I'll do quick research right here just to make sure. But I promise you, I just saw a thing.
I'm gonna be sick.
But you guys are doing a breakdown and discussion of the episodes for House of the Dragon on Monday. Every Monday till that show is over, whether it be next week, whether it be this next Monday or later down the line. But again, thank you guys. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, leave a comment, do all that cool stuff, and goodbye.
can't give me 1 fucking second.
I mean, seriously, this guy, man.
Like, I'm telling you,
This
episode
guy.
8. Where is
It
it?
should be out of 10 because there were 10 for Game of Thrones each episode or each season. I hope this isn't it.
I know I just saw a thing that said season finale. Man, I'm not seeing it. Okay, well, whatever. We'll figure that out.
We'll figure it out later.
We'll
hey,
definitely
thanks
be
for
here on
hanging out,
Monday.
guys. Hit that bell, and you will definitely know about it when we know about it.
All right. Later, everybody.